Welcome to Question Marks. No matter what I do, that's not going to sound as cool as when Grayson does it. I am Brandi, your host for the week, and I'm very loud.
I am Brady and a parent.
I'm Grayson and slightly less loud.
I am Addyson and not the mother.
But she has a leash.
Yes, I do. Not anymore.
Yeah.
And I am Rob, and I am the parent of three wonderful children. Three wonderful children. I don't remember how many there were. Yeah, just three.
Nice adjustment.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And I'm Kahm Broham, and I got nothing to be sorry for.
All right.
This is the speed round.
Yeah, the
Just a speed.
round.
Everything you are asking about parenting, and even the things you never even thought about parenting, but you will think of now. You're welcome.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I love you. Bye.
Welcome to Question Marks. If you're watching this, just look at the three other screens that are everywhere around there. Okay. Season 5. Tonight we're talking, or today, tomorrow morning, whenever you're listening to this. I'm already ruining it. We're talking about parenting. So apparently this is a topic that we have discussed on past seasons, but what I love about this podcast is we are always in different phases of our lives. And Brady is a new parent.
I did it.
And so
It's all me.
I did it.
All by
The
myself.
Bob.
You passed.
I love it.
We're not talking about that, are we? How you did it?
We do not need those
We
details.
are explicit rated, aren't we?
Yeah,
So we
most
do.
of the time.
We are explicitly rated.
Not for that, though.
Brady's
for
not
that.
here with the buzzer
Please keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
cancel you out.
Correct. This will just be a conversation later on.
No, it won't.
But yeah, so this last off season, I don't know. I have just had a couple of moments where I like to try to not be judgy, but I've had a couple judgy moments where I'm like, they should not be a parent. Come on. Like, what? What? Why? Why is this? Why can't they just, no, that's not. But yeah. So anyway, in light of our current situation with Bob now in the world and Brady being a new dad, I put parenting down and some awesome questions. And so I am excited to get your feedback and ideas and maybe make me a little less judgmental.
Oh.
Hooray.
Probably
Probably not. Realizing not everyone on our forum is a parent, I would love your perspective as if you are a parent, Rob, Brady, awesome, but also as just with your parent or as a future parent. So any answer is
Scary.
acceptable.
Some of our favorite things as not parents is
being a
to
cat
tell people
parent,
how
Cam.
to be parents.
Yes.
Now,
Can confirm.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
These people should raise their
love it.
kids differently.
Yeah.
that
Parent,
kind of
It's
thing.
like
Better.
not voting and complaining about the government.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
it. My favorite thing was before I was a parent, people who put their kids on leashes. I was like, that's
I
the
was a leash
stupidest
child.
thing. See?
And it shows.
then I had children and realized this is why that happens. So,
Yeah.
I did run away.
was-
I did run away.
There was no reason to volunteer that.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm a proud leash kid, okay?
This could be an
Leash
hour just on
baby.
this.
Start
Start a movement.
Tell me more about being a leash baby.
Listen,
Wow.
one time I ran away in an Old Navy.
Oh.
How far can you get in an old
Okay, I didn't run away,
Not as far
but
as with the leash.
I hid in one of the rounder racks from my
Okay.
mom for like an hour, and they called the cops.
I did that too, but they didn't put me on a leash.
Okay, well,
I was just exploring.
anyways,
I think that's my favorite conversation because your mom got home, was immediately went to your dad and was like, your daughter
Yeah.
Your daughter.
Yeah.
hid in the circle of the clothes. And your
love
dad
it.
Bill went, leash her up.
Leash her up.
It works with Scooby the dog. It's going to work with her.
they laughed
I love
just
it.
like that. Yeah, but I turned out okay, I think. I don't know.
How many more roundabouts
from-
did you hang out in?
None after that.
Okay, that worked, yeah.
I like to weave through crowds now, but because I am free of leashes.
Aren't you worried about like the tug on the neck? Or did you have that like chest
PTSD.
leash?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah. That's why I can't wear turtlenecks
Harness.
anymore.
Brandi, is this where you thought this was going?
It sticks with me. I still feel it. Well, that might answer my first question. The best moment in your life that you remember with your parent, or as a parent? That may or may not be your
That was not
answer.
my fondest moment with my parents. No.
It's my fondest moment of her parents.
So whoever wants to start, the best moment as a parent or that you remember with your parent.
Mine just happened recently, so I got a fresh one.
Birth?
As a parent, yeah, the birth was pretty cool.
Okay.
The fact that it was just like labor, 2 hours later, I had a son was great, but that's not it. I think it was 2 weeks ago, because I've been with the boy, and the boy has not been sleeping great, but he's getting better at sleeping, and then there's small little progressions that go by. And I think it was like the first smile we got out of him that was not just clearly passing gas. So like the first actual true smile that came off has probably been my favorite moment. And there's been a lot more smiley now too. So that gets better and better each and every day because it never gets old. It gets better. And I know that there's going to be some bigger, even better, some toothier, like 1 to 2 teeth smiles coming up here pretty soon that I'm also very much looking forward to. But that's it. The first smile.
That
was not gas.
That was not it.
That was
you're
not
aware
gas.
I imagine your family is going to have a lot of smiles over the years. Yeah. Just a guess.
Thinking you're probably right.
It's hard to go. Yeah, considering you shake him and go like, fuck you, Bob.
Oh my God. Disclaimer that does not happen. Disclaimer to any police
it's only
officers
5
listening
minutes
to this,
into the
that
episode.
does not happen.
Wow.
Brady does not shake his baby that we know of.
No, I don't
Anymore.
shake my baby.
Anymore. We have the past evidence.
The past evidence was saying,
He
like,
can see
I see
how it
what
would be a thing.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
exactly. I saw you why
That's
they
right,
have to
that's
show the
right.
people the videos. Yeah, I clear the record. I do not shake children.
That
But
we
he
know of.
understands. He understands how it could be
Wow,
a
his,
thing.
his cute my baby smiling story just went south.
Sorry about that.
Immediate defense of I do not shake him.
I don't know why it was. There was like a lull, and I went straight to Brady shakes his child. I don't know why. It was.
So far we've covered the long-term damage of putting your child on a leash and
That I don't shake my
Not
child.
shaking
Is that on the record? Clear on the record.
Baby smiles are beautiful.
Baby
Yes.
smiles
Yeah.
are beautiful.
Let's not forget that one.
great
That's the
segue.
takeaway.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's not forget.
Mine's a little cheating because I have like a couple things both my parents used to do with us repeatedly, which meant a lot to me. Means a lot to me now. Maybe not as much as I should have appreciated it when I was younger. But like, for example, my mom used to go to Lincoln every week for like just to work. Like she had meetings in Lincoln or whatever. And so there was like a couple summers, I think 2 summers, where my dad would take my sister and I out to the golf course in the mornings. And we'd say we're going to Adventureland or whatever. We tell our mom we're going to Adventureland, but we just go to the golf course on like Wednesday mornings or something like that and play 9 holes. And at the time, I was playing golf a lot, and I was very angry. I was a very angry golfer as a kid, which is just hilarious objectively. But like, it wasn't funny to me because I was so mad all the time. And like, my dad got to a point where he's like, "This isn't fun. Like, I'm not having fun."
Can you give us some reference? How old were you?
This is like 12 through 16. I was
So
probably
you're
in
an
that.
angsty teen
I
at
was,
golf.
but these Wednesday mornings were different because like I don't know if we didn't keep score or nothing, or if it was just because we were all caught up in the bit of like it being Adventureland for no reason that I just never got mad. Like it wasn't one where I got angry at. Like if we went on the weekend, I'm full raging, But yeah, I don't know. I just remember that a lot and like the consistent effort he made to do that when you didn't have to, I guess, especially with how busy he was and stuff like that. So, and then my mom, same kind of thing, consistent effort. We used to play a card game called Speed. I don't know if any of you have
Oh,
played
love
it.
Speed, yeah.
Speed's fantastic.
The game. I love Speed the game.
Yes.
You can love whatever
Just to be
speed
clear,
you want.
just to be clear, the game.
Hard game.
Yeah.
Yeah, card
This
game Speed.
podcast is
Not
taking
the
a
substance.
crazy turn real
I
early.
gotta
fun too,
clarify.
though.
I don't
You never
judge.
know what you say. People will jump on you for
Oh,
anything.
I have not done
I
drugs.
love Speed, and that's a standalone statement. I am talking about the card game, though. And yeah, she would play with, like, it was almost nightly sometimes. Like, we would get into streaks where we'd play all the time, and I would just ask her. It's like, she's reading a book or whatever, and I was super rude, and I'd be like, can we play Speed? She's like, middle of a chapter. She's like, yeah, sure. Close her book and play. So I appreciate that a lot more now than I probably did back then when I was just like a me kid. But yeah, knowing that both my parents put that effort forth is it's pretty nice now that I'm a little older to appreciate it. So
Your mom is awesome.
she is. She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. So?
Scoring them brownie points for later.
Yeah, she's not here for this episode. So.
Right? She can listen
She'll be
later.
listening.
Wait till side B. It's gonna get wild.
Goodness. Side B is for bashing my mother.
I didn't say that. Hey, stop putting words in my mouth. Man.
Cam Bam, you want to jump on over to
I
you?
will jump on in. I'm gonna bring it down for you guys.
Yeah, bring it down for us.
Bring it down. Ooh. No, so I'm a child of divorced parents.
Nice.
That was the Leash child. Leash child said that.
I was the only child, and so since I was 4, they've been separate, but they've been cool, right? They've been, they just couldn't live together. That was the thing they realized, which is fine. And then my mom ended up fostering a really great relationship with my dad's younger sister. So they're like best friends in the entire world. So she's always been a part of my dad's side of the family, and my mom's side of the family doesn't have much in ways of people. There's not that many. Excuse me. There's not that many. So at one point, my mom and her now husband came to Christmas at my dad's family. And this is when I was like 25, 27. Like, it was an adult experience.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Has
like,
movie all over it.
Yeah, it's been 23 years, and we haven't had a Christmas together. And all of a sudden, here comes mom and new stepdad and dad and the rest of the dad's side of the family. It was so cool because, everybody was cool. There was no weirdness. It was just like, oh, that's what happens. Like, because we've been at weddings together, we've been at other things together as those two sides of the family, but to do a Christmas together and have gifts and exchanges and just that whole thing of Christmas was really weird and very awesome. So that was one of my cool experiences as an adult with my parents. Like, oh wow, look at you guys just getting along and having a good time. I knew they could always get along just because of how I was brought up, but it was just like one of those moments. Like, oh yeah, you really can do it. This is awesome.
Do you know?
I love it.
Do you know why she came? Was it just?
Oh, she was invited.
Yeah, sorry, but like, why did it take that long? Why did it come together?
Hello.
Yeah, that's my bad. Stupid question.
No, yeah, I got one good guess, and it was her former boyfriend before she had met this other guy and got married to him. Which he's the dopest. I love him. He's a great
Nice.
guy. But the previous dude, she was like 20 years with, and he was just kind of a weekend weirdo boyfriend, So I think that was the big change. Is he was just kind of in the way of her growth as a person.
Oh, yeah.
That she needed to get the hell away from him. Not by any like he wasn't doing anything, abusive or mentally or whatever. But it was she's just, I guess, kind of a douche. So, but he was always in the way for 20-some years, and then she's like, oh, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm gonna go off and grow, and she did, and everything was fantastic. So yeah, just like that was a really cool Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah, and then also like I'm in the back seat. My mom and dad are in the front seat, which, again, 20-some-odd years since that had happened. I'm like, I'm going to take a picture of this. It's like, oh, it's weird. It's just like a weird thing. Like, hey, look at you guys up there in the front seat after we're leaving Christmas together nearly 30 years after the last Christmas we did together. So it was wild, but it was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I almost needed a flow chart there for a second.
I know. Okay, it's a wild life I live.
I need a whiteboard.
That's the takeaway.
Well, if you think that was taking you down, I'm going to take you way down.
Way down
because
yonder?
It is way down. Because
The
actually, we're
Chattahoochee?
coming up on 1 year of my mother's passing. And so both of I will say at this beginning, so many moments I have with my kids. It's hard to say these are my favorite moments, but I would take any moment with my kids over any other moment I have in my life, good or bad, just because they have the interaction.
We had some pretty bad ones. You sure?
We absolutely, and I've had some bad ones recently too. But it's
Drama.
but the thing is, it's like I am still interacting with you, and I think that's one of the greatest things as a parent when their kids get older, just to keep interacting with them throughout life, right? I mean, so because you could easily distance yourself. And your sisters could easily go off in the world and just say, yeah, thanks for raising me. I'm out. I'm on my own now, and I'm going to have my own life. That can happen. That happens so many times in life. And so the fact that I can still see you and talk to you, even sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not great interactions, I'll take any interaction I can get. That being said, so I'll
Set
point
up
to
for
my
a mean joke.
no, it's not a joke. As I point to my parents, my mom, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of her passing. We used to go to, there's a place in Papillion called Duck Pond, Halleck Park. I would pick her up from her assisted living. We would drive through Runza usually, and then we would go sit there and just look at the ducks and the birds and the kids walking. And we would she and I would sit in the car. Sometimes my wife was there. Sometimes my wife and Scout were there, and we would just sit there. And those moments, I will never forget those moments because we had great conversations. And my father, we did. He was a colonel in the Air Force, and so he was super rigid back. This military guy. But he started for some reason. He always wanted to be in the press club show. The Omaha Press Club had a show, and so I said. So he joined the press club, and he was in the show. And Brandi, I think you were in shows with him as well. And we would sit in the back row during rehearsal, and we would just start talking like two little junior high boys, right? We'd start making jokes about the lyrics and whatnot. And the director at the time, Howard Swain, great guy, but he was like, I've got to get this show on. So he's like, would the McCartney boys please shut up? And so then Dad and I would giggle like little schoolboys. All the way home, I'd drive him home, and I have those memories of the rides home, thinking, here's this dude that just literally he ran the underground of Offutt Air Force Base. I mean, that was his job, and then he worked at this place called Joint Strategic Target Planning, where they decided which areas of the Soviet Union we would bomb. I mean, this guy was a high-level thinker, but we're making little schoolboy jokes, driving home, and I'm thinking, this is cool, this is my dad. And we had those moments together, and I still. Those moments, I would kill to have them back. So
The KETV contingent got yelled at a lot at the
we
Omaha
did.
Press Club
We
show.
did.
We were like, it was just like stares, like stop it, like behave. Sorry, not sorry.
Don't have as much worries from the top, do you? Yeah. KT.
Right. So anyway, didn't mean to bring you down. So there's that.
Goodness.
So great moments with parents. No matter where you are in life, you have great moments. So
Leash girl.
Oh,
besides the leash,
That sounds bad.
My bad.
that was not my favorite moment.
New nickname. I like
It's okay. It still makes sense today.
Alicia, would that be better?
I'm imagining like a 90s graphic popping up on her video that's just like, Leash Girl!
I like that.
If my parents are listening to this, sorry.
You did that.
You did this to me. This
I
is why
learned
I'm
it
in
by watching
therapy.
you.
So was it a halter leash or was it just like a neck leash?
It was a halter. It was like a little backpack.
In the 90s, that was
Oh.
a thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
choker.
Anyways.
That's the thing, yeah.
Let me talk about my nice
that was-
parents.
Sorry, like back
times.
whenever people thought you could steal kids, and they'd be like, it's gonna be fine. And they pick them up, and they're like,
like,
these things are
"Psych."
little shit. What am I doing with this?
Where do I give it back?
Well, I had him
stealing
tied to the
kids?
bumper,
Yeah, that's
so
what
we're
was a
good.
bad investment.
It's a leash joke.
As you were.
Thank you. Can regain composure.
We'll cut this out.
Okay. Please don't.
No, we're not.
He won't. He lies.
Is this the first question?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
We're going to get through 4
great.
questions.
Okay.
That's all.
We're never getting here.
Okay, something I've always loved about my parents, not the leashes. We're going to skip over that. When we were growing up, our house was always like a meeting spot, safe haven for me and my friends. And I just kind of like looked past it growing up, but it was always so nice. You know, they were always like, your friends can come over, they can come to dinner, it doesn't matter, we'll cook, have them over, it doesn't matter how many, when, whatever. And this past April, so in April of 2023, we had a family reunion and we did interviews with our like generational counterparts. So I interviewed my mom, and I brought it up, and I was like, I've always loved how you and Dad made our house such like a welcoming home for me, for my friends, and I always felt like if something was going on with me or with them, they can talk to you. You're their second parents. That's how it is. And they're like, oh yeah, we did that on purpose. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. But they're like, yeah, we talked about it before we had kids, that this house is going to be an open home. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, but we will be here for you and your friends, and we will accept you as you are. And that is something that if I ever become a parent that I want to carry on to my kids, and it's just something that's always been really special to me as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, we were working, Rob and I don't even remember what holiday it was, whatever, and you came to work and you're like, yeah, I left work and my basement's full of kids I don't know. Like,
Probably
was
run into walls and stuff.
I don't even remember if it was you or Hope, but home from college or home, it was a high school weekend or something, and it was just...
Yep.
It was the same thing with your house. You're like, I don't know who any of these kids are, but they're just all sleeping at my house.
Didn't you say like your reasoning was like if they're in our house, we know they're not out doing stupid.
Yes.
We know where you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
But we have. It's actually when we were in college. It was years later. We found like socks or a pair of shorts that we had no idea whose they were. It was one of your teammates, your tennis teammates.
Oh yeah, our tennis team stayed at the house once.
Yeah,
Forgot about
so it's like I
love that.
all a bunch of tennis players here. Okay, I'll just step over the bodies, find my way. But it's the same thing
Yeah.
as your folks. I mean, you want to be a welcoming opening spot. I think every family should be that way.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
agree.
And Addyson, our boys are 13 and 10, and same thing. We specifically bought our house because it's has a big open basement, so that was kind of our intent. Like, as long as we know you're here, that can be your place.
Yes,
You just do your
definitely.
thing and have fun, and at least we know where you're at.
Yes.
So, awesome. So for me, I tried to narrow it down as I was thinking about these, and I appreciated how Grayson gets to think about these questions every week as he's writing
Isn't it
them.
nice?
That was like, this
It's
is
a lot
kinda
scarier to
nice.
show up and you don't know.
Yeah, but then you cry at home before you come to the. At least I do. You
Yeah.
probably don't do that.
Grayson cries a lot.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, on the sleeve, you know.
I read somewhere the Hemsworth boys cry all the time, so
Yeah.
it's fine. It's a
Those
very
are my
masculine
models,
thing
so
to do.
thank you.
They're often mistaken for each other. Yes.
Crying is in.
So having my two boys, from mom perspective, for my oldest, it's hard to narrow down just to one because he's my first, right? So it's like this flashes of all the firsts and just moments of joy in my head and heart just to see him experience, like, holy cow, like we got to make that possible as his parents, you know? And then trying to think of my best moment with my Evan, my 10-year-old. Ironically, this week was a great example of that. We had parent-teacher conferences, and one of our neighbors around the block, her little guy is a couple years younger than Evan, but he hangs out with Evan and all of his buddies, and she sent us a screenshot of a picture that her little guy drew that was in his parent-teacher conference summary, and it was a picture, and it said, "My favorite thing is going to the creek to play with Evan and John because I have friends." And it was just like, we've talked about that in a previous episode, like, no matter what he does, no matter if he's a brilliant attorney or a doctor or changes the world or whatever, to know that he's kind and good to other people. I don't know that there's a better compliment you can get as a parent when you hear that your kid is polite and kind and people enjoy having him around. And so that just warmed my heart. So, yeah.
Did it hurt having him?
International Women's Day.
Leave it to Rob. Leave it to Rob.
That might have been the
I
hardest pivot
took
we've had
advantage
this entire week.
of every medical advance that
you
was
should.
available to me, Rob.
Just curious.
So, funny story about that I'll throw out there. Since you opened that door.
Absolutely.
So,
It's a good time to
baby
leave the
number
room.
2, everything advanced very quickly.
Okay.
And so at the point where they're like, would you like, your epidural? Hell yes. Where is he?
Sure.
So the doctor comes in, and at the time, my husband was one of the directors at then TD Ameritrade Park. And it was June 1st, so College World Series is just around the corner. So this wonderful anesthesiologist comes in, taking his sweet time, washing his hands, putting on the gloves. I hear you're in charge of, well, who do you think is who do you like? Blah, blah. And my head straight up, that scene from The Exorcist, full out swiveled on my neck, and I said, "Stop talking!" And Brian looked at me and goes, "Sir, I'll tell you anything you want to know about the ballpark and any team and anything. Just please give my wife the drugs." So,
Good man.
yeah.
That's it.
God bless that Brian Paul. He made things happen. So,
That's the takeaway.
you can answer this one about being a good husband or a good parent. 3 adjectives.
I'm a great kid.
Yes.
What else? What do we got here?
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
parent.
just shut up until next question.
We're sitting this one out.
I said, no, this is your perspective. 3 adjectives. You have the choice, door 1 or door 2. What makes a good parent or what makes a bad parent? 3 adjectives. Dun, dun, dun. And Mr. Smarty Pants, you get to go first. Grayson.
Thank you.
We had to
welcome.
clarify which one was Smarty Pants.
I said Grayson.
Cam, I get it. I get that one.
That's what I mean. Mr. Smarty, for those who are not watching
I
this,
said Grayson.
Mr. Smarty Pants could have been anybody.
Hey, Cam.
Not me.
Has to be great.
That's true.
I'm Jiggle
That's
Pants.
true.
What is with you this episode, man?
What? I'm just keeping it real.
Oh my god.
That's a good adjective.
He's so cool now.
my God.
He's so cool now.
So cool.
Well, I'm gonna go with patience.
On which end?
So you're choosing the good parent.
I'm good
what
parent.
makes a good parent? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I actually mix match? No.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
I'll try to keep it.
Oh,
all.
we
All
can say
right.
them.
Or
We
you
gotta
can do
guess which
both.
one means
I don't
which.
care.
I don't have the bad ones. Patient, but at the same time, you got to be confident you're leading your kid in the right direction. You can't like waffle and waver, and change directions halfway through. But the other part would be passionate. I think the biggest thing that I struggled with for a while is like with my dad. I knew he had like this cool career and all this stuff, but I didn't really get to see it happen, and so I didn't get to see like the kind of passion he had behind it. I just kind of saw the back end of it. But like when I got to go to the station on occasion and watch some things, like my perspective would switch or refresh and be like, okay, no, this is like something that's really cool that he's doing and stuff like that. Just to be a good role model, I think it really just requires being passionate about something and then doing something about what you're passionate about. And so if you don't have that kind of passionate parent in your life, I think it'd be tough to kind of aspire to be something yourself. Maybe it motivates you more to be passionate because you've lacked an example. I don't know, but like for me, I know that the passion both my parents had about very different areas of their life is very inspiring to me. And one of the big things is about each other. And I don't want to get too on the head here, but like I think having parents that are a team makes it helpful as well.
Ouch.
Sorry,
I know.
Cam.
Sorry, Cam. Wow. I didn't mean to make direct eye contact with you, and I started
You
out.
looked right at me. You said,
I didn't mean
what
it.
if your parents were a team?
But no,
Like,
it's
man.
like
Let's
I
flash
saw
back
my,
to Christmas 2020. Come on. I don't know what's
I am
good time.
so privileged in that sense, and probably many others, obviously. But I remember specifically, like I was like 13, and my sister was 11, and my parents got in the first ever fight they've ever had in front of us, and it wasn't even a fight. It was like my mom telling my dad he should probably be doing something for his health, and my dad's like, man. And they just kind of were going
my argument.
pouring on it, and like Hope and I took a beat. Like we left the room, and we're like, "Is this the end? Like, are they gonna? Is this trouble?" Because we just didn't know, and like luckily we didn't know what that looked like. I guess when parents were conflicted with each other, I guess they didn't do it in front of us ever. So I think that was a big for us.
We hit it
obviously.
well.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
All right, eye contact. What makes
It's on next, right?
Wow.
good?
Did he give 3 adjectives?
I don't know.
No, we'll just go with
I get
one.
4
You got,
actually.
you
A
got whatever you
description.
want. 3
don't know
was
what
a
they-
All right, I
3
was
was a
making sure.
general.
2.5.
Do what you want.
Making
Two
sure.
and 2 descriptions.
Making sure he was doing his thing.
Good or bad?
Good
All-
or bad?
No rules
Things
here.
that make a good
There are
parent.
no rules.
or bad.
Or bad. Or bad parent.
Or both.
You know what? I'm going to go with the good side. So I'm an optimist,
Yes, you are.
despite my star sign
Oh yeah,
What
that
is it?
last week.
last
episode.
week.
What is it?
I'm a Capricorn.
Ugh.
I'm a little pessimistic, as we found out. But I would go with good side. Like leadership by example Is that an adverb?
Good
Or
one.
Adjective?
It's in the Bible.
No.
Exemplary?
It's in the Bible.
Leadership by example.
Find that on Google.
Example-y.
Oh, I found the
Leader,
Bible.
Google Bible.
leadership.
A leadership
Leader-
situation.
Leaderly.
Yeah.
I don't. Stop
Doesn't
looking
it?
at me like that.
As a child. Leadershiply. Leadershiply. That's the word.
Oh, there you go.
They're leadershiply.
We'd get there.
But yeah, you got this, child trying to form, trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure it out. We're all trying to figure it out together. But if you can, kind of put it together a little bit enough to do some guidance, that's a good thing. That's where I was going with that, I guess. Leadershiply. I think you got to have some humor, whether it be in being able to tell jokes or in just seeing the humor in how fucking crazy life is, and that things are going to happen, and if you can roll with that, whether like me, for instance, I got to my dad's record collection when I was 2 years old, and I thought they were Frisbees, and I was having a time. And
How'd they fly?
they fight apparently well.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
So well until they hit something, and then they shatter.
That's my least favorite thing about
Is this
Hurrdat.
why your parents got divorced?
No, I don't think
wow.
so. It was 2 years later.
So we're just really hammering on Kahm. Sorry.
Was it you, Cam?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh my God.
I'm the shining fucking light, man.
I'm gonna go home.
I'm the reason why they even like each other.
You brought your kids
Yeah.
back for Christmas.
No, but that kind of like, oh man, I was 2 years old. I got up in the middle of the night and I was like playing with matches, throwing them in the fish tank, and I was like, oh, let me throw some fucking records around a little
Arson.
bit. Steppenwolf 7. You ever hear that album?
What?
Rob? Steppenwolf 7?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the one my dad could never find again.
Born to be wild.
So like,
Is that the right one?
that's Steppenwolf. Yeah,
That's the right group.
Steppenwolf. Yeah. Well, like that was the album that he could
You're
never
halfway
find.
there.
They never printed it on CD. They didn't put it anywhere else. He's like, I gotta. His whole life journey has been trying to find the Steppenwolf 7. But the fact that him and I can get together and laugh about it, the fact that I was a 2-year-old idiot and I was throwing stuff around because I thought it was fun, is a thing. So like, humor is definitely a thing that you need to have, whether it be dumb dad jokes or accepting the fact that life is wild.
Yeah.
So when your dad is laughing, is he like, or is he like,
He's just waiting. Why don't you just go to sleep? Like, all right, I'll go to sleep.
okay.
Yeah.
Like choking sleep with a leash.
Hey,
Like,
Oh, Leash would have protected him from the record.
don't bring my leash.
Wow.
I'm waiting for my
the
time to
line.
bring that up.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be a cutter when I bring the leash back up.
She's already taken 2 shots at
I
you,
know, that's what
man.
I'm
You
saying.
gotta
I'm-
stand up.
Hey, I'm a gentleman.
I can take it. Don't worry.
all right. Well, while you're taking it,
Okay.
good or bad?
Yeah, let's breeze past that.
Okay. My parents have always been very empathetic and apologetic as my sister and I grew. I later in my life, a couple years ago, I heard a quote that said, "Be kind to your parents; they're living this life for the first time as well." And that really
great.
stuck with me because I'm like, yeah, I gave my parents a lot of shit when I was growing up at 16, and I was an angsty teenager, and I thought the world was ending, but they are experiencing all of this for the first time as well. So I should cut them a break. And now as we've gotten older, my sister and I, my parents' relationship with me and with my sister has become more, I don't want to say friendship because it's not, because we're, family, but we call each other almost every day. We talk about our lives, and we're just compassionate with each other, and we just take it as it is. And I think that's really important as you become a parent, if you ever become a parent. But that's something that's really stuck with me.
Awesome.
I like that. You're right. I mean, because you're learning, both of you are learning the whole time as you're going along. Yeah, that's great perspective.
How often
Thank
do you
you.
guys, typically on average, what do you think is like the good time frame to call your parents or have when they call you? What's your rhythm?
I got
of
this.
discussing things.
Start a
with your parents?
podcast. See him every
Weekly.
Friday.
Get them every week. Yeah.
This has been a blessing. So are you talking about how long should you talk to them or how?
No, just like
when should you
what's
call
your frequency? I guess.
them? Oh, what's your
I mean-
frequency, Kenneth? Okay, I get you.
yeah, REM.
Someone's
It's actually Dan Rather was the original. Yeah. It happened to Dan Rather, allegedly, so it led to a song, yeah. But
Oh, nice.
sorry, sidebar. Sorry.
Now I know.
Well, you can answer the frequency question then, I guess.
Yes, as often as they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, call
Whenever-
your parents whenever. Yeah, call them more than you think you should call them. Call them more, or
That's
text
fair.
them.
Way fair.
Again, I will go back to the whole any kind of interaction you can have with your kid as you're going on through life. From my perspective, I think that is huge. Just we'll take any nugget.
So what are you going to go good or bad? What makes a good parent or bad parent?
I think it's good to talk to your kids. Yeah.
Please interact with your children.
Please. Yes, they call you, just only block. Block.
Blocked.
They keep getting burner cell phones and trying to call you like, we need to get in touch with you.
They keep finding me. It's a move.
Please send me money.
I have one of those jobs where they know where I am at a certain time every day. Yeah. It's like, damn it.
Tuesdays at 6.
I think one of the most important things is to be present. I don't know what the adjective would be. I guess
Present.
presentality.
Presently.
Presentitiousness. So
guy.
be present with your kids. I mean, no matter what it is, when you can do it. Because I screwed that up a lot when I was worrying on my career. I wasn't there very much. Working dinners, that kind of stuff. You stay at the station, but you need to make time to be what you can do. You have to do what's right for you, but you have to figure out a way to be present in your kids' life so their kids know that you are invested in their life more so than you are in your career life. That's how it should be. It took me quite a while to figure that out, and unfortunately my kids were older by the time I figured that out, or I figured out a way to make that happen. And so if I went back, if I could re-rack my life, that's going into becoming a parent, I would say I'm going to put parenting first, career second. And it's not even going to be a close 1-2. It's going to be, parent by a landslide, and then, career. And however that works out, it works out. If my career's not as successful, so be it. As long as because that's the most important thing is you're growing your family and you're sending them off into the future, because that's where it needs to be. So be present.
Brady's on.
Yeah. So I'll be the first person to answer the question in its entirety by giving 3 adjectives.
Hey, I got cut off. I did passionate.
I did passionate.
Cam got cut off. That's true. Which, by the way, is
I
the
was
best
struggling
thing
for
about
a third one,
I ate
so
two.
it's cool.
So the first one is consistency. And this is going to be just my little 2 to 2.5 months of being a parent currently. And number one is consistency, because with a small child, you can't really communicate with currently. It's just being with them for the same period, doing the same things, getting them used to a normal routine so they can start not worrying about the small things. Like, we're going to do a bath time at this point. We're going to be going to bed at this point. We're going to be doing this. So not only is it better for you, so you can get kind of caught up to where you need to be in the next 6 months when we start, or not 6 months, maybe it's 6 months for sleep training. I should know that.
I don't think there is.
It
a
will
good
happen
answer for
whenever it
that.
happens.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm on the Google.
exactly.
Hold on, let me Google.
Yes.
When
so
will my
whenever-
kids sleep?
Yes, but for getting a good routine down is the first thing. So consistency of that. Number 2 is I'm gonna go with like humility and humor. Humor is by far the big one. Is there's gonna be a lot of moments that you can take as being just emotionally crushing, like those certain times where he's just screaming and crying and you don't know why, and then he makes a small toot and you look at your wife and you just both giggle your heads off. And just that small moment, like, I don't know what to do with this. And he's like, oh, don't worry, he'll get it figured out. Just realizing you can get ahead of that and know that the moment he makes a small little toot, gets that gas out of him, or he takes milk, you're just silly for not thinking of that the first time, because you're just so tired that the first solution, like the most obvious solution, just kind of slips your mind more than not.
Have you ever blamed a toot on yours, on Bob?
No, because
Give it
I'm
time.
far
Give
an
it
adult
time.
You
man.
will. You will. Doesn't matter. You will. You will.
Yeah, no, I can't get away with that. But her is okay. I'm gonna throw Brienne under the bus one time.
Oh my God!
Not
Again.
again. This was
You can't.
a
It's
burp.
International Women's Day. You can't do that.
This was a burp. It was a very funny burp
no.
because Bree
Which one?
didn't even realize. So my parents were over and they were helping watch the boy for one weekend, and Brianna, unsolicited, just like it was me, the boy, and her in the house, full volume burped in front of my parents, and I was like, Bob, wow. And then Brianna just eyes realized exactly what just happened and stares at me. I nailed it. That was my first husband check, was blaming it on the boy there.
gonna
You
give
see
you-
that
Well done.
in front of my
Nice.
parents? That was pretty good. I was
Well,
pretty
now
proud
your
of it.
parents will know, though.
Right.
Do you think they listen to this?
I hope not.
My parents listen.
Hey, kudos to you, Bree, for just doing the full
Your
out
parents
burp.
listen.
Well done.
Yeah, she
Sometimes.
didn't even realize it. It was pretty darn funny.
Let her rip.
And then
Absolutely.
the
what I
last
say.
one, and definitely the most important one, is I couldn't think of what the actual adjective would be. Communication, of course, is going to be the number one, but actually saying how you feel and not communication, open communication. I'm not going to dig myself a digger hole in that. Communicative. Oh, that son of a gun, that is it.
That sounds like a good one.
Communicative.
Thank you.
Yeah, but more or
Words
less
are
just
things.
being
This guy
like
knows
honest with
words.
exactly how you're feeling and not really letting them boil up in between each other.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be, and I've had both, like this morning I had one I did not very proud of, where I was like, Bree was getting ready for work and I had the boy, and while Bree has nights where she's going into work, I'll take him the entire night. So it doesn't matter what it is, if she has to go work for like 12 hours, I'm going to take him every single time he wakes up. And I was with him at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was, like, oh my goodness, I need to clean up him a little bit. He's got some boogies in his nose, so I just need like the sucker, and like calling for Bree, and she's just getting ready. And like, I know I have some hard hearing, and Bree will talk to me directly to my face, and I'll, I'll dad her out sometimes where like she says
selective
things.
hearing?
You're in a different
Yes,
zone.
yes, she talks to me, and I'm like
You're a
nodding
brave
along
man.
with her.
Mom
You're so
dads us
early
out
for
all
that.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and immediately I'm like, oh, absolutely, I can go do that. And then she's like, were you even listening to me? And I said, yes.
Good answer.
Can you
Double
say
down.
it again, though? Can you say it again, though? But this
Can
morning,
you repeat the question?
this
I think it's
morning,
more details real
yeah,
quick, though.
and this morning, whenever I got the second call, like I didn't get anything back from her. So she came, was like, "Can you give me anything before you left?" I should have been like, "Oh yeah, can you give me a Q-tip?" But instead I was like, "Did you not hear me? I wanted a Q-tip," and it was just like an ugly side of me I was not very proud of that came out.
Wow.
It was like clearly you were doing stuff and I was in the opposite side of the conversation where for the first time she didn't hear me and it was blatantly obvious she couldn't, and I was super tired, no caffeine, which is not a good excuse, and I should have been like got over the top of it and been able to say like, "Oh yes, can you get a Q-tip so I can clean the boy up?" And I did not do that.
Was that today?
Yeah, literally this morning.
International Women's Day?
Yeah, you saw me. You saw me bringing my
Shame
my
to your
bang
family.
at
Oh,
9
please.
o'clock. But yes, but communicating how you're feeling and being able to do things like, and knowing that though I'm giving sass or though we're kind of being sassy, it's because we're tired, not because we're angry. That's probably the biggest one. It's just between for the relationship between both of you.
Have you decided if you're going to be good cop, bad cop later on?
Ooh, good one.
Which one did you pick?
I'm always bad cop.
I'm thinking.
Shocker, I know, right?
Drama.
It's not a conscious decision. It just plays out that way.
I'm a bad cop. I'm thinking I'm going to let Bree pick which cop she wants to be.
Oh, come on.
Well, I can guarantee you she's going to be good cop. And then she's going to be like, all right, your time to be bad cop. And then I'm going to be silly cop going
You're going to
in
be
there.
giggling. Yeah, you can't be bad
Giggle
cop.
clock.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
cop, yeah.
I think what I'm going to be is very, very good and analytical with. So you told me you put your toys away. Then why are your toys out right now? And you're like, well,
That's the answer, yes.
yeah,
you
I'd
have
be
to wait till
like,
they can...
good conversation, Bob.
You'll find out. Like once we had an issue with Easton where he's a really good kid, but he had something happen at school. He didn't turn in an assignment or something, and he was like in 3rd or 4th grade. And Brian and I sat him down, and I was like, had the conversation, blah blah blah, and I was like, so what is your action plan? And Brian's like, he's 8. What the hell are you talking about? What's your action plan? Okay, I need
a
to take a step
5-step
back.
process right now.
I like
What do you do to make this right?
That's a great idea, though. 'Cause I do think that's going to be happening quite a bit.
There you
it's
go.
going to be
I'm not
just,
alone.
How do we?
You leave me alone.
That's a great idea. What is your action plan?
Make me a PowerPoint
wait till they learn the
presentation
scientific
of your
method
action
so they
plan.
know there's 5 steps that they need to accomplish.
First, we get a focus group.
This is my first time too. Thank
We
you,
get my
Addison.
friends
I
together.
use that
Let's
all the
figure
time
this
now.
out.
Oh, that's
I
a
did
good
kind of
idea.
get that punishment once, though. Like, my dad was mad at me. I can't remember why. He sat a large book down on the table and he goes, "Read. When you're done, I want to hear a plan on how this is not going to happen again." And it was like such little context, so much anger. Such a big book.
Wait, so you had to read a book and come up with a plan at the same time.
Yeah, based on the book, based on context
on the
clues.
book.
What
Okay,
was
all
the
right,
book? Was the book
I don't
like
even. I don't
the
remember.
Bible?
It might have
was
been, who knows?
It was not the Bible. It was some guide.
It was
about,
the thickest book in the house.
That's what I'm saying. Was it like
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What an amazing way to
Well, it's
be
just
angrily
funny.
introduced to it. Enjoy this.
This
Get
is science
something out
fiction.
of it.
There wasn't an enjoyment. He's like, "I need a plan when you get done with this."
In his head, he's
my
like,
gosh.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. So
Exactly.
you read, I'm going to take some time to figure out my plan.
I'm buying time.
That one was a little out of rhythm. Like it felt a little odd. So maybe it was that way. He's just like, I don't know. Have him read a book. Read a book.
I feel that's half of parents' things is like, I don't know. This is new to me, so I'm going to stall, but I'm going to make it seem like a punishment of some sort.
That's Addison's thing.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
a thing?
I'm not a
To find
parent.
time? No, that's what you're saying.
Oh.
Find time. Yeah.
It's like, I got to buy some time. All right, you read
We're all
this. I'm
learning
going to
this
figure
together.
out what
Oh,
I'm
yes.
going to do to you.
Yes.
I'm going to take a moment.
Do you think
That's
yank
where,
on the
like,
leash?
the timeout corner came from.
Yeah.
Let's just sit in the
Probably,
corner while I
yeah.
can think. Like,
Yes.
just sit
Yeah.
in the corner, be quiet, let me think for a little bit. Because we had the stairs. Like, our punishment was the stairs.
Oh my
And I was
God.
in the
What?
stairs a lot.
You got pushed down the
no,
stairs?
No, you,
Oh
no,
my
no, no, you sit on the
Excellent
stairs.
question. Excellent question.
Yes, you sit down on the stairs. And that was like our corner,
wow.
you know? Like, you like, go to the
I
stairs.
thought the belt was bad.
Okay.
yeah, no,
Jeez.
no, it was like, you just
Brady, we're learning gravity today.
I know, right?
This makes so much sense for your
It
character.
was a learning experience.
Oh, man.
Lordy.
But
You were a
yes.
child
Sorry,
at
your
the
analogy
stairs.
fell apart.
Yeah, but no, it's so
Sorry,
good.
we
It makes
did that.
That's all
I
right.
did that. I'll start that.
All right. Well, I'm going to close this one out. Mine may or may not be adjectives, which is weird because I wrote the darn question. But
Catch by surprise.
I'm going to go with love, which is so
Love.
cliche, but truly, like, I hope that my boys and any child grows up, like, for good, bad, evil, they look back and figuratively or truly feel like their home, their parents, wherever that may be, that's a safe place they can always go back to. And so I think love is the core of that. Like, you just feel love, like you belong, like you are always welcome. Ironically, for the first time in 5 seasons, my husband had input on this question. And he said,
Whoa.
not bribing, because I do that a lot with our children.
Bribing.
Like,
Well done, Brian.
if you do this, I will give you a pony. And he hates that.
How many ponies do you have?
So many ponies.
Are they My Little Ponies?
Butterscotch is hungry.
Can I have one?
Send your
And-
donations too.
Along those same lines, he said, don't let your own guilt guide your decisions, which I thought was not an adjective, but also very brilliant.
Yeah.
Because
Poetic.
I have a tendency to do that kind of along Rob's lines, like building my career and being a strong professional has always been very important to me. And on the flip side of that, when I feel like I've been failing in the mom department, who wants to go to Dairy Queen? Who wants to do this? Who wants to do this? Like, I will buy your love in return. And that's not the way to do it, right? And I've started to notice that my very brilliant little boys know how they can manipulate mom to get what they want. And I'm trying to put the kibosh on that and not do those things. So that leads to my second adjective, which is just to engage, like to just get to know your kid. What are they all about? What do they want to do? What makes them tick? And if it's, hey, you want to play do speed with me, mom, whatever your thing is.
For the record, they did not do speed at the house. Yes.
I
wanna do
got
speed
really
with my
good at
mom.
tennis pretty quickly there.
That's true, you did.
Mom, if you're listening, let's do speed.
Right?
Yikes.
Looking back, like my son Evan and I, we read all the Harry Potters. Now we're reading all the Percy Jacksons. I hope in 20, 30 years he looks back and he may not remember a darn thing about the book, books, but I hope he looks back at that time together and remembers that. So just realizing, like, I don't give a shit about soccer or about Roblox or Fortnite or whatever the hell my kids are playing, but I love that they want to tell me about it because that makes me feel like they care enough about me that they want to tell me. So just to engage,
What's
you
your
know?
beef with soccer?
I just think it's boring as shit.
Agreed.
They score like once every 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
just
second that.
dumb.
The game doesn't even last 2 hours.
I love
Just
going to
seems
Union
like it.
Omaha
Doesn't
games
help
because I
your
can
point.
sit on the berm and get sunshine and
Yeah.
There you go.
yay Omaha, but
If it makes you feel
go
any
to a
better,
picnic.
I
I'm in the
still
minority.
remember when I read books with my mom.
see, and that's
And, yeah.
Sherry and I have talked about the same thing, that she still remembers reading books with.
And I remember it too. We had
Yeah.
the whole Harry Potter series over breakfast
Yep.
before school.
So I hope that they remember those things.
I
And
tried to
then-
get Grayson to read a book, and I told him to sit down and read it. And I wanted an
And
action
look how well
plan.
that turned out.
You can't help that he's illiterate.
And then one last
To be read too. was the thing, yeah.
One last thing, and this is a really hard one for me, but I also realize how important it is
Sorry.
being the guardian and the guide, that you are the parent to lead your child on a good path. They are children. They have to grow and be shaped, and they can't do that without someone guiding them along the way until they can figure out the way themselves. And that is your job as a parent, to guide them along and help teach them what, as I put my hand right in front of the camera.
Yeah. We're on
Kim's like,
camera
"Please
now.
stop
Brandi.
doing
Come on.
that, Brandi."
You have experience here. Let's not do that.
And sometimes that's hard, and sometimes you have to be bad cop to do that, and that sucks. And you literally feel like you're breaking your own heart, you know, and being the mean guy or whatever. But I remember Rob and I talking about that sometimes before I have kids, and it was never about you because you were a perfect child.
Obviously.
Somebody said.
Grayson,
See how it turned out. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah. But I hope that because I'm making, and Brian and I are making those tough decisions now, that it's a lot better than bailing them out of jail in 10 years. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Because they're
That doesn't
making
have to be-
really hard decisions.
That doesn't
later
have to be
on.
the other side of
It
it.
doesn't?
Could be
Okay.
like, get a face tattoo. You went straight to
I got
jail.
a face
I mean, they could be
tax. My
doing
mom
speed
didn't
in the
punish
gutter or
me,
something,
right?
you know?
Or
So-
in our house.
With
At
their
least-
mom
But
in
if
the
you're
house.
with family, it's fine. Yeah.
As long as you do speed with your family, it's fine.
Whew,
That's what I always
Did
heard.
that stick to the... Okay.
right?
Takeaway.
So all of this
Can,
leads
wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You're talking about being a guide. What happened? What do you do, or what will you do, do you think, when your child chooses a different path than what you think is right?
Well, I think there's a difference between...
Or your belief system?
Can my dad answer this too?
No. I'm just
Okay.
curious. It has not happened in my life. I mean, no, seriously, it has
Nice
not.
job.
Yeah. And I
Seriously,
think
so-
that's,
from the
I think
same
that's the
cloth.
biggest difference, is that Brian and I think we're on the same page with this. Try to be very open-minded in... feel like I'm getting super philosophical, like Indiana Jones. What's the difference between fact and truth?
Yeah, sorry.
You know,
I'm gonna take
what is
That's where I
fact?
go
What
for my.
is truth?
That's where
What
I go
is,
for my
you know,
philosophy is Indiana
but-
Jones.
what is right and wrong versus what is, you know.
Okay.
But are you hurting someone? Are you hurting yourself? Versus, like, is this a good decision? Is this a bad decision? You know what I mean? Like, I hope ultimately the right decision for me is that my kids always feel like they can come to us and talk about it. Whether it is something that is a really big life decision that we may or may not agree with. Ultimately, I think there's big things like breaking the law, and, you know, you could get kicked out of the country, or you could, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about the consequences with all that. Like, but in terms of, I don't know. Those are, I like Addison said, this is the first time I've ever gone through this as well. But bottom line, I hope we are building the foundation now that our kids feel like they can always come talk to us, and we'll work all those things out together. I hope.
Yep, that's the dream.
That's the dream. So, next question. With all of this being said, just had a great conversation this week where we were talking about a group of people, family, if you will, where all of the kids kind of grew up to be a hot mess. So, when that is the case, can you blame the parents? Is it their fault?
I'm just dying.
And if that is true, then when kids are all successes, do you credit the parents? Is it all on them, or is it because a child rose above having bad parents? Is it all on the parents?
Is this a double all or nothing?
Yeah, man. No, I don't know.
No.
Open for discussion.
No, it's not. You can't assess blame on the parent for what a kid does. I don't know how many times you have.
Sometimes you can.
Well, you can, but sometimes there's actually a case going on right now. With the shooter, right? The Michigan shooter, right?
Yeah, and they blamed her.
And she got convicted. The mom got convicted of because not doing enough is having the gun. And right now, as we speak, the dad is still in court and he's trying to figure out his fate. No, I don't think you can. I mean, there are plenty of times where you have plenty of people who are criminals and they have perfectly fine parents. I mean, the parents are fine. It's just something else has happened in that child's life. A parent can't be there for the whole child's life. You can give them a blueprint of what you think is right. And then you just say, go into the world, because we can't be there when they're in school, the time between school, after school, all that kind of stuff. It's like eventually there are so many other factors that happen in their life. The kid has to take responsibility for their own action, I think. A parent, if something bad happens, well, I can't even say that. I mean, there's eventually if a kid goes sideways, if you will, it's maybe a little on the parents, if they've never been present, which is some of the things we've talked about before, but a lot of it's on the kid and the other environments that happen, right? Conversely, if the kid goes out and is a wonderful tennis, star or musician or whatever.
Cheers to Grayson.
Well, we've mentioned tennis 3 times.
Hey, not drinking.
Haven't done it all
Take a drink.
season.
I'm out of beer, so.
It's an old rule. We had to do it.
A drink when you say tennis. Oh, there's another one. So anyway, so you have these outstandingly talented kids. All we can do is we can take them to the doorstep, if you will, and then it's up to them to shine.
Yeah.
You can't take credit for their innate abilities or whatever,
So complete precursor to why I wanted to do this, and I know we can't go down this rabbit hole too much, but I'm just going to open it up to the philosophers in the room. I have had
Indiana
so
Jones.
many thoughts. Don't you knock the good name of Indiana Jones. So many situations I look at
He had a
where,
nice hat.
not to knock the good men of the world, but there are dudes out there who have X number of babies with X number of mamas and don't do
Big
a
cannon.
darn thing to support any of them. And I can't help but wonder at times, like, as a society, is there nothing we can do to incentivize them to just stop procreating or to, and that goes down a whole theological, philosophical rabbit hole of this or this or this or this, or to stop people from having children, or what do we do or what do we do?
That seems
But
like
it-
the last question of the episode.
Okay, stop. I got a better one.
So we all ponder
I
on
got
that
a
one.
better
But yeah,
one.
no,
I
So
got
are
a
you
better
talking
one.
about they
But-
as in the male or the female?
Both, maybe.
Okay.
Both. But because there's economic burdens, right? There's societal burdens. There are all of these different things. But at the end of the day, who gets to ultimately be the judge on who's a good parent or not? Maybe those quote unquote dads aren't paying a dime for any of those kids, but maybe they have a lot of love. And maybe they're
there.
doing the best they can in different ways.
Yep.
Maybe these that's a terrible word. Maybe women who have multiple children with different fathers should be commended for not, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to open up any discussion. I'm just saying this. They chose to have their children rather than having them aborted, rather than, making another choice. They're doing what they can. Who gets to be the judge and the jury on whether they are good moms or not? So there's all these different layers to it. Who gets to be the judge on whether they're good parents or bad parents? If their child is a success, if they are not a success. So that's why I wanted to have the parenting episode. So many questions.
Oh, we get to be the
So
judges?
many
We get a
thoughts.
judge?
Yeah.
Sweet. All
Grayson
right.
loves judging.
I would love, based on
does like to
everything,
judge.
I just said, opening up the floor.
Yeah. So
Other than shut up, Brandi, stop talking, which you can say.
the first thing that came to my mind is, I think if you look at what starts to be as a good parent, number one, you have to look at our introductory societal standards, moving from where we started in America to where we are now. So let's go with, and whatever, hell, 60 years ago, I mean, it's definitely not, let's say that was when it was really the most like integrated in America, was that the father was the financial supporter of the family, the woman stayed at home supporting the kids. So what it was really thought to be, and still currently is, I guess, in the legal system, is that if there's going to be a divorce or there's going to be a mom and dad are going to be split up, the only big legal requirement you have to do is parent or child support. It's financial. Like legally, that's the only big thing. You don't have to be forced to go see your kids. Most parents fight for that, but it's not something that we as a society still currently say, like, if you don't want to be together, you don't want to be a part of your kid's life, you can do that. Financially, you need to support them. That's the big thing for the father's role. That is really still kind of, and it's definitely transitioned more into the maternal role as well. If they don't, whoever's supporting the kids, the other individual, the other procreator, is going to have to find financial support for that kid. And I think
Grayson and Kahm made eye contact
The other
again.
procreator is just so funny.
The other
How do you? I agree though. How do you just use the word mother and father interchangeably when for me they're such beautiful words that mean so much more than just biologically creating a child? You know what I mean? Like there's this so much more definitive nature behind those words.
That's
so
a lawyer
I
for
totally
you, though.
get.
Breaking it down to procreate.
You can call it vessels. I don't know.
Sperm donor.
vessels.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's all, you can't call another a sperm donor either. You know, so like
It's true. You can't, right?
so.
Recipient.
So I think the societal standard of a father
I gotta
is
get
now
another beer. I'll be back.
transitioning. Absolutely. The societal standard of a father being the financial supporter is now changing into our generation currently.
Yeah.
It's definitely becoming more of the mom and the dad, or the dad and dad with the adopted child, or the mom with the adopted child, are still now both financial supporters. So that is being transitioned a little bit out, but still there in a lot of places. So that is where I think the financial standard, of the father saying, all I need to do is support financially if I don't want to be a part of the children's life. I think that societal standard is changing a little bit more. For what I believe to be a good parent, of course, is going to be more than money.
Yeah, for sure.
More than money by a long extent. I mean, don't get me wrong, financially supporting your children in your situation that you are currently, if you can, is the best thing. Like right now in my schooling and my current looking for a job, Brianna has been financially supporting us, and I've been the biggest academic burden I possibly could be.
It's a net zero investment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But the stupidest investment I've made is investing on my own future.
No.
But could she do that if you weren't home taking care of your 2-month-old sweet baby boy?
Oh,
like it is. It
like
is a
she
complete
absolutely
trade.
could. She's a superwoman, but it's a lot easier with
Yeah.
me being there. And that's exact. Like I couldn't agree more. Like if that person's not there to be that big of a helping hand, it's going to be so much more of a burden on another place for you emotionally, sleep deprived wise, than just having that cooperating good parent both together does make it a lot easier on you. If you're making it a lot easier on the individual parent itself. Like one person can parent. One person absolutely can parent. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to take a lot more work and effort. And don't trust me, those people that do it are superhumans.
I know a lot of them, and they are superheroes, for sure.
But it doesn't mean it's not going to be easier if there was another person there. And in some situations, it's worse to have another person there. Like, a lot of people do have that person, like you were saying, like the weekend person, a weekend weirdo. Yeah. Yeah,
a weekend weirdo.
Kahm said it. I wrote it down.
He's gone. He can't.
Yeah, and he wrote it down. I wrote it down. But yeah, but someone that is taking away from your parenting as well, and like I don't know how you deal with that situation. I've been in a very blessed situation that my parents haven't been there and I haven't been there.
Yeah,
and hopefully Bree's not thinking the same thing about me. So
I think the thing that gets me, and then I'll close the subject on this and go to a funny question, is like, and one of the things I love about this podcast is that I feel like it's become so taboo to even talk about things like this at the risk of offending someone or having a divisive conversation, that we can't just have good conversation to try and see other points of view and form an understanding and even just expand our minds a little bit and learn somebody else's perspective, you know, because we're always at the risk of offending someone or being shut down socially or reprimanded or whatever by just trying to learn more and I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes approaching with an open mind too.
Of course. Absolutely.
It's not just saying stuff into a void of people with closed minds. That would be bad, obviously.
Absolutely.
I think this is a good group of people who have messed up enough to have
I
an
have
open
never
mind.
messed up.
So on that note,
Leash child besides.
Along those lines, though, you're right. I mean, the thing is, you never want to answer your question, nobody. Who can judge?
absolutely.
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody can judge. You don't know the shoes. You don't walk in their
Nope.
shoes. You don't know where they come from. You cannot. I mean, even you can. Many people do, and I have in the past, immediately stereotype somebody. Right? You see somebody, and you're like, okay, that's what that person's life is. And I would say probably 99% of the time, I would be wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's no reason to judge for that until you know every moment that they had, every interaction they had, every dream they had that's been crushed, every dream they had that's been realized unexpectedly. You cannot say and project on them, this is what their life is like, and it doesn't meet my standards. Therefore, it's wrong. So nobody can judge. I mean, that's not what our role in life is.
Yeah. 100%.
But I think it's difficult. This is a tough question. I'm going to throw it out there. But can you think of any set of circumstances that would justify someone leaving their own child?
What age?
That's a good question. I would say pre-18. Anytime before they're not actually legally an adult.
That would be tough. Unless you knew that you had such a destructive behavioral aspect. Maybe you had an untreated for whatever reason, you're not going to go get help, but you knew you were, for example, maybe violently bipolar or something. And you're just like, I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to get treated whatsoever. That aspect alone, you know that you could possibly be putting your child in danger if you stayed in their proximity. Yeah, I would remove myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would all be on what kind of danger, what kind of harm could I do my child?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be I want to get away just so I can have, I can weekends to myself kind of thing. It wouldn't be. It would be what kind of danger would be on the kid.
What about as a non-bipolar person?
No.
Okay.
No, I could not fathom. Even if my kids were sitting there saying, "Go away, go away," my response would be, "Read this book."
Yeah.
What if I became a Patriots fan though? Like, what if I
If
started?
you became a Patriots fan, oh my god!
My child is a Yankees fan, and that was a sad day
Only
in my
talk
house.
out of season is at the time. Like, all right, it's not football season, it's
Yeah,
not baseball
if you-
season. We'll talk.
If you say Tom Brady is the GOAT, you're gone.
Bye-bye.
There was my next segment.
For now.
All right, so that's a perfect segue. The I get it now moment, Dad. Anything that you want to apologize to your parents for that you did as a child. Great example. I'll start
Can
this
they
one.
apologize to us too,
Yeah,
or is this
sure.
just one way?
No.
I have nothing to apologize.
2 weeks
Oh,
ago,
that's familiar.
influenza B hit our house hard, and both my husband and Evan had it. And so Brian was down and out in a bedroom. I was handling Evan myself. And there is nothing quite like catching vomit in your hands in the middle of the night.
I've done that
Tell me
before.
about it.
Right? And I just wanted to call
my
my
own.
mom, and I did, apologizing for how many times we didn't make it to the bathroom as children. And she had to, I was like, I'm so sorry, Mom. I don't know what we did
Would
to
you wake
you.
up
this
your
a
parents
random
in the
call?
middle of the night and you're like, I
No, I
puked?
didn't.
Yeah.
Where you didn't you're like, you tried to make it to the bathroom, didn't make it, and so you just went to their room instead.
Like,
I
Ma'am.
must
I threw up.
know the answer to this. Sorry, did you call your mom up randomly? And I'm so sorry for all the
Pretty
times.
much. I think I texted her first, and I was like, I just want to apologize for all the times I vomited on the floor or on you and not in the toilet.
Did you have
Because
a
this
universal
sucks.
puke popcorn bucket though?
We did. It was a
I did.
popcorn dish.
Yep.
Yes, and not one time did Evan use that in this week that he was
Very
sick.
good.
Yes.
Very good.
Did you throw up a lot when you were a kid?
No, but between the three of us, very close in age, my dad on the road quite a bit, so my mom was caring just for us. She cleaned up a lot of vomit alone.
Jackie's a superstar.
Oh, that Jackie. I owe her some flowers and wine, I think, this week. So,
And maybe some Febreze.
Lysol for everyone. I felt like that little lady on Poltergeist after everyone was healthy. I was like, this house is clean. please, because I just walked around spraying it everywhere.
You had a lot of screen time when you were a kid, right?
Just that movie.
So it's
Freaked
iPad
out.
kid? Is that what they call them now?
Must be
Oh my god.
Indiana Jones, philosopher.
This house is clean.
Yeah.
I got something I could apologize
Yeah.
for. I
Yeah.
could apologize.
Did you read that book? You should apologize for that. If you
That's
did
right.
not.
I read a
Damn it.
good chapter.
There were a lot of these.
Apologize to your mom.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
She's not in the
Just
room.
for everything.
Less awkward.
Honestly,
I don't know.
yeah. The one
Guarantee it's gonna
episode,
be. Guarantee it's mom.
the one episode, like we're net positive, she's not here. You know.
It's not a zero-sum game.
No, I got the business
some
man
people
in
it
me
is.
from last
To
week.
some
Yeah.
Business.
Oh goodness. One thing I was always mad at my parents about is like how little they reacted to something I was freaking out about, and my thing would be very small and like
I like
a
how
one day.
Rob
thing.
just chuckled, by the way.
Yeah, no, he gets it.
Is this quicksand
He
again?
gets it. Yeah, kind of. He's like, I went to my parents about quicksand. They didn't understand.
Again,
Like,
how
this has never
old?
happened.
I need
No,
reference.
that wasn't actually
24.
true. No,
This was yesterday.
Yeah, it was
This was yesterday.
Get over it.
The floor is lava. What don't you understand?
Yeah, why can't you see it?
How are you standing there right now?
It was kind of like that, though. Not to like cheapen myself, but that was kind of what my
Brady, I almost
experience
spit
was.
take.
It's like there was one time I was gonna be late to like prom because I had a tennis thing or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the worst of all time." I'm the worst. Like this is gonna suck so
Are you
much.
getting a pedicure?
My parents
or
are
what?
like, "You're not even dating this girl. Like you're not gonna care about it in a week or whatever." And I'm like, "Shut up, stupid! Like this is my life. Like you don't care about it at all." And it's like no, like. Literally, it's Sunday. It's like, oh, well, that was fun. All right. So I did kind of learn
I'm
the
just
lesson.
so glad I know
progress-
you're as a rational-ish adult. I don't know if I would hang out with you if you were a teenager. And I was a teenager also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do I take that?
That just seems ridiculous.
Not well.
It seems bad, right? I hope you wouldn't hang out with
Yeah.
most teenagers. Man.
Well, I'm also a teenager. That's what I'm trying to say.
oh,
If
yeah.
we were teenagers together, I'd be like,
No,
"Eh, we're not gonna hang out."
I don't blame you. I was probably the lamest pre-18-year-old there ever was. Like I
No,
sucked.
no.
And
That
then when I
feels right.
became 19, still
Worse.
kind of lame, but a little cooler. And I've been coasting on that since.
It's funny what facial hair will do.
Yeah,
That
it really.
mustache really gave him a lot of
See that?
confidence.
Oh
Look at that
yeah.
mustache. Zoom in on that real quick. Yeah.
I think I would like to apologize to my parents about is so I have an older sister, so I watched her go through being a teenager for the most part before I entered that. And I told my mom straight to her face because I watched her deal with my sister. I said, "I will never be like that." And then I was worse.
So you weren't lying.
That was
There's no lie there.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
So why are you apologizing? You told the truth.
Yeah, but I don't think that's exactly what she grasped.
Oh, that wasn't the takeaway.
Looked her
daughter
straight in
is
the
terrible,
eyes
but at
and I
least she's not a
said,
liar.
"Mom, I will never be that mean to you. I will never do this to you." And she's like, "It's okay, sweetie." And then
She knew you
She
would.
knew. She knew. Sorry, Mom. I love you.
There it is.
Mine is a curfew. I am going to apologize for my parents giving me a curfew of like 10 o'clock. In my class, I had the earliest curfew
Wow, that's
all the way up.
Loser.
Yes. Well, because nothing.
Really?
That was our curfew.
No, it wasn't. School days. School nights. It was your
gaslit.
school nights. It
I
was.
believe him.
But
You had
yes.
to get home to watch your dad on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah,
that was our
Yeah.
Every Tuesday.
Let's all huddle around
Every
the TV.
I guess it was a good cover, right?
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
Said it with a straight face.
Gotta come home
Anyway.
and see Dad
Yes.
on the TV.
On the TV. He
Talking
never
about
escaped. He's always there.
Talking about fun stuff too.
Super good stuff. Now go to bed, kids.
Here's what's wrong with the world: sweet dreams.
Bill's always
We got
happy,
popcorn.
though.
We got popcorn.
Did get popcorn.
Anyway, you had 10 o'clock curfew.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because nothing good happens after midnight, and then it must mean that there's nothing good between 10 and 2 or 10 and midnight. So, like, I know for a fact that I never got in trouble whenever I did go out between 10 and midnight. because I knew I was gonna, if I got in trouble, I'd get my privileges revoked. But then I also figured out that I could sneak through my basement window, so that it went away whenever I realized that I was very elusive and sneaky. But my parents were none the wiser, because whenever I turned over the old, Oldsmobile, it wasn't silent. it wasn't like they.
It was an electric vehicle.
It
Just
wasn't
started.
Your town wasn't that big. Like, you just walk.
Yeah,
I think
everybody in
somebody-
town heard that Oldsmobile.
But
Yeah.
somebody
Tyrell.
turned on a vehicle
You
in
didn't ride your
Omaha.
horse?
Well, I mean, the only thing that you can really do in Elma was, you drive around town. So if I could get out, the only thing I would do was drive around town, or I'd go out to Tyrell's, who lived 15 minutes out of town.
Oh, Tyrell.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly.
Good time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my parents had literally nothing to worry about me. The only one to do is go out and play Magic the Gathering with Tyrell. That's all I want to do is play video games.
You
For-
rascal.
For a
harmless.
second,
It
I
is.
thought you said your parents wanted to go play Magic.
Yeah.
Don't
Parents
judge.
are super cool.
No
Yes.
judgment.
Yes. I mean,
How awkward you run into your parents at Tyrell's.
Oh, I'd be super Wow, what deck are you guys playing? Didn't even know you guys liked the game. But yeah, all I wanted to do is go out and be nerdy. But like, I know for a fact it was mostly like I wanted to be nerdy with my time because.
You're a nerd.
Yeah, exactly. But there were so many, like a lot of my other friends were out drinking and driving around town, And there was always that option of,
They were doing what?
yeah, literally drinking and driving around town.
Wow, double
literally,
down.
literally a thing that happens in small town Nebraska.
Well, it happens here too.
He didn't
Oh,
name
yes.
names. He didn't
Yes.
name names. That's
I
just
did
good.
not name
Yeah.
names. Okay, it's just a thing that does occur, and
Gotcha.
people at booze cruise. It sounds a lot more fun than it is. It's
A lot of
more
gravel roads
dangerous.
out there.
A lot of gravel
Yeah.
roads out there. Yes. But yeah, I mean, I understand because my dad, that's what my dad did back in the day. Right? My dad wasn't no dummy, and that's exactly he knows exactly what happens in a small town. He didn't want me to get into it, so I got to say
Gotcha.
thank you for it, because I clearly could have been one of those people that did that. And I clearly could have been one of the people that didn't graduate because I was dead. So like I got to give him thanks for it.
So they kept you in the basement?
That's where I slept. Yeah.
They locked him. They pushed him down the stairs.
Obviously,
and
they
then
didn't
locked
chain him
in.
up.
You're learning about gravity.
Did you have to wear a leash while you slept?
Listen,
No leash for me.
And it all
Listen.
comes together.
No leash for me, baby.
it was only in public
Nice.
places.
Much better.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Anything that you told the Colonel and your mom that, look, I'm sorry.
No,
This
no,
is-
they were cool. They were cool. My apologies would be to my kids, and it would be for the lack of presence later on or earlier on in their lives. Trying to make up for that now, but I'm realizing that I've already dug a hole that's too deep that I can't fill, and I'm trying to fill it by being there. But that's the problem, is that I wasn't there enough. I was there some. I was there more for some than their oldest, their sibling, who I wasn't there at all. But it's like, that's my takeaway for parents. It's like, just be there. Be there. I said it before. I don't care how hard it is. Just be there, because that's what's going to matter.
I have two points on that. First, you're doing a fantastic job.
It's like
of,
one. No,
coming
you're
back.
not. You suck.
First,
Point
I
one,
was saying,
liar.
I don't know if our relationship has ever been stronger, if I'm being honest, completely.
I would
and
appreciate
so
that, yeah.
it's just, I think that effort's coming in, and I'm going to call bullshit on you never yelling at your dad or your mom.
Drama.
Oh, no, I used to yell at him. Yeah.
Yelled at the Colonel.
Well, I would speak harshly to him.
Randy
Yeah.
can't even say it with a full
Look,
voice.
he was the basketball
Whispers.
captain, president of the math club. You don't think this kid had an ego? senior
Math
year?
club.
Yeah.
Yelled at the Colonel.
He did.
Dad went to one of my basketball games
Oh,
in
this
my
is
entire
best.
career. One
Was
of
this
them.
when you were Robbie?
This is no, I was Rob. I was Robbie in junior high. I was Robbie in Papillion. I was Rob in Louisiana. He went to one of my
Too many
basketball
letters,
games.
you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
They're illiterate.
It's just signing your name was just easier with ROB, right? Anywho, Little did I know that it was a felony.
Knowing how to write?
Yeah, no, not right. No.
Forging a signature of someone you're not.
Anywho, so Dad went to one of the games, and I fouled out of my first 5 games of my senior year. I was an aggressive ball player.
I wasn't laughing at that. I was still laughing at the previous.
No, I'm just letting you know that that's what I did. And so Dad happened to go to one of those games, and he's in the stands, and he's yelled, "What a dirty player! What a dirty player!" And he's yelling at me, and one of the guys on the bench is like, Who is that? I said, "That's my dad."
It's Colonel.
Yeah, he went to the game. He came to the game, but that's my dad. So
Yeah.
that was the only game he went to. One of the, and he was just like, whatever. So
Yeah.
So you don't regret fouling out of that game, at least?
no, I was a see ball, get ball kind of guy, and that's how I am in life. I'm
Fair enough.
trying to back off a little bit, but yeah, it's yeah.
So this is not my story, but I'm going to tell it anyway because he's not here. So very similar. My husband's father was a truck driver, so he was on the road quite a bit, and so he missed a lot of my husband's baseball games when he pitched in high school. But whenever he could, and he was home, he would come. And as good of a pitcher as my husband was, he was terrible when my father-in-law would come because he had this like very deep, loud Italian voice. And every time Brian was pitching, he'd go, "Rocket fire! Rocket fire!" And Brian would just like Wild Thing, Major League, like fling it off. And Brian says he still remembers his catcher calling timeout and being like, "What the hell is wrong with you, dude?" And he's like, "I can't do it. My dad is yelling. It's in my head." So
Can you do rocket fire in an Italian accent?
you don't have to.
To do the hand.
When you guys come over to play golf, Brian will do the impression. It's brilliant.
Golf night?
I,
Woo, golf night.
with the boys.
Bam, bam.
I
What do
kid
you
you.
Golf night at Brandy's.
Oh, I think I've actually done this already.
Was it the records?
To the parents? Yeah, definitely the records. Like, sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
I tried to find Steppenwolf 7. Doesn't exist.
Oh, you were going to buy it.
I was gonna buy it. I was like, "Hey, Dad, here's a thing." But then I got on YouTube Music.
So he gets it
He
anyway.
can find it. And I'm just like, "Hey, man, I shouldn't have got you YouTube Music. I should have got you Spotify. I apologize." So that's one thing I apologize for. Is I got you
The wrong
YouTube
app.
Music instead of Spotify.
Good.
It is a big
Spotify
deal.
is way better.
There's still time.
Are you a millennial?
Technically,
He's the old side of that, though.
I'm on the old side of it. Yeah.
I'm on
But
the young
I've also
side.
apologized. I've already apologized to my mom for stealing her car and sneaking out in the middle. And I've already apologized to these things. I've owned up to these things, and my mom had no idea, which was a wild thing to me.
Wow, that's rough.
She had no clue that I was sneaking out in the middle of the night when I was a teenager.
So you were just indicting
stealing
yourself?
her car on the weekends and just doing whatever the hell I wanted to. It was so weird that she had no idea. Like, I was so fucking good.
Yeah,
I
you
was
just
so
snitched
good.
on yourself.
I've already done that. I stitched on myself so many times to my parents. Like, hey, by the way, but it was 10 years after. So I was like, hey, statute of limitations, right? Can't ground me now. I'm already an
Have you
adult.
thought about apologizing for things you haven't done? Just because
no.
you're that good, you
No.
should do that.
Nope.
You want to do
I
that
don't.
now.
I don't want to give up all my secrets.
You want to do it now, don't you?
Maybe.
Do it now.
Just
On the
'cause Rob
podcast,
said
Cam.
it.
Do it now.
Do it now. Do it now on the
Rob's
podcast.
making me do it.
No,
Call your parents.
Yeah, why?
All right, I'm gonna call my mom right now.
For content. Why?
Mom, I'm so sorry. No. No, I'm just sorry for being a really fucking awesome kid. I mean, I don't know
That's
what
terrible.
they wanted. They wanted more from me, but I was just so good.
That's what I tell my
So
parents.
good. It's
And
really
they
the
break
thing.
out the leash again to remind you to be
Yeah.
good.
The leash is gone. Let's be clear.
And my dad breaks out the belt. He's like, "Hey,
It's burned.
who's the good?" No, I'm just kidding.
And then we break out the cards. Who needs some speed?
He could barely
It all
walk.
Speed
comes
with
back.
He could barely walk. He wasn't hitting me with a belt. He could barely walk.
Lordy.
That's a good defense.
He's got no knees. What are you gonna do? Chase me? Yeah. Good luck, buddy.
You want to race?
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Saying that on a public
Hey, we
forum.
did it. We came full circle. We got a true one. Right at him. Look at that.
He has no knees?
Well, he has knees.
Okay.
He's like the dad from King of the Hill.
I got you. No, I got you. It's like, no knees. I was like,
And
he's running like, Mr. Crab from SpongeBob.
Oh, I was picturing it as that old, I don't even know what it was. The lady in the wheelchair from SpongeBob when she wants chocolate.
It all comes back to SpongeBob.
Mrs. Puffs.
No, it's just like a head and like a
It's
spinal
a
cord.
very brief
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Is this how you thought this
so
episode would
Mom,
go?
Dad,
Thank you for
Debbie
listening.
and Clark, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Debbie
thank you
and
for
Clark.
sticking with us
That's
for
what I
all
was saying.
hour and however long it's been.
Thanks, Mom and
So
Dad.
let's end with one deep question, which isn't really going to hit home after the leash, the speed, and the belt from Kahm. When you
These were
take-
not all at once.
Yeah, not at all. Thank goodness for that. When you take your last breath as a child or as a parent, what will your final message be?
All right, welcome to Side B. Today we talked about parenting, and I grabbed a few questions from it. The first question is going to be, what subject did your parents not help you with?
Oh.
And when I'm saying subject, I mean school subjects, because there's a certain point in your life where your parents are like, I know I can help you. And then they see an E show up in a math class and they say, you should think about it a little more. What do you
I thought
think?
E was for
What's
excellent.
an E? Yeah, what is an E?
Yeah, an E is like the
Excel.
opposite of reaching the limit of
PEMDAS.
a test. I don't remember what E's a number.
Can we just go with
Euler?
F?
It's
Can you
Euler's
say
number.
F?
It's Euler's number.
Whose number?
Euler.
Obviously.
Anybody? Euler? Bueller?
As in
Yeah, it's not
Ferris.
reaching the limit.
Thank
It's
you.
it's Euler's number, which is something I don't remember. But what is one subject you were not able to either help your kids with, or you don't think you're going to be able to help your kids with? And Kahm, if you're not planning on having kids, or if you're like, what
cats.
can you not help your cats
Cam
with?
has like 12 cats.
Man, I can't help my kids with much. Man. They're very independent rascals.
Yeah.
Just do what they want to do all
That
the time.
tracks.
You know what I can't help them with
Math.
is understanding the changes of the weather.
Oh,
Especially in
yes.
Nebraska, where they're like, hey, it was so nice today. Let's go outside. And then I open the door and like, it snowed? Ah, and like the wind comes in, like, what is this? And they like backpedal, that little like cat.
You let your
backpedal.
cats outside.
Oh, all the time. That's
They're
their
outside
life.
cats.
They go outside all the time.
Enrichment time.
cats.
They're the coolest, but like as soon as it snows, they're like,
Enrichment.
what is this? It's different than it was 12 hours ago. And they're freaked out. I'm like, come on back
They're
in.
not unlike many people.
I was to say, I had that experience this morning. I walked outside and there was snow on the ground. It's like, what is this shit?
if only there was some news source that could tell you.
Tuesdays at 7.
I feel like I've
I
already
knew it was coming.
watched my share.
I pay attention to the news. I'm an old man. I pay attention to the news.
Grayson's
I-
basically a house cat.
True.
Well, that's the conclusion. We'll take that.
Can I see that move again when your cat's back out? What's
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a
That is really
That
good.
is backwards
Yeah.
shimmy.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
They're on
goodness.
Spotify.
I taught him that actually. So
Oh,
it's a Kahm original. Cats
It's
adopted
genetic.
it.
Nice.
nice.
Adopted cats adopted it. The move. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Math. Okay, I got you.
All
I got
right,
you.
next.
Math.
I got you something here. My parents never had the, and I don't want to phrase it as help because that
I
seems
thought you were
weird.
going to say audacity.
They never had the
Presence of mind.
audacity
They had too much.
Presence of mind.
to have the. I know you're here, and I'm going to say it anyway. The birds and the bees talk.
Oh.
Mine handed me a book.
Never had that one.
Read this. Tell me your action plan.
Tell me your
Basically, they left it on my bed.
The audacity.
You make good points.
Yeah, I don't want to
birds
speak
and the
on this
bees.
too much further because there was an incident where it did come to a head for a second, and I don't know if it should be brought up.
Did you have a child out of wedlock?
No, that was a shady no. That was a hard no.
It was a pause.
That was a weird pause. No children out of wedlock.
He thought for a second.
Yeah, I had to debate. No, yeah. So I never had that, and I don't want to call it hope because that seems weird. So that's my answer.
That's a good answer.
She's not here to defend herself.
Yeah.
What do you need to know? I'm here.
I'm good now. I feel
It's
You know
open
what?
book.
let's map out an example
let's
for
hash it
future
out now.
parents. Yeah, no, I'm clear. We're
Okay,
good. Yeah, I think you. Yeah. I'm
I
just
know
gonna leave
things.
it.
That's
There's
good
so
enough.
much
All
more
right.
to be
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. So Rob, you said math.
Math, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I do know
basically
how
the same thing.
I do know how
Former
1 plus
president.
1 equals 3.
Two.
This is the former president of
3.
the math club in Bossier,
Yeah,
Louisiana.
I was also surprised with that as well. That the former
Yes, I
president
was.
of the math
you
club
can
is
look it up. 1980. Yeah, senior
Do you have a
class.
Where could we
trophy
find
or
that?
a
No, there's a-
ribbon or anything?
I need proof.
No, I will show
There's a
you my
yearbook somewhere.
yearbook
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
Yes. So math, they never helped. Actually, they didn't help a ton with schoolwork as it was. It was pretty much you're expected to learn, you're expected to pay attention in class, and then know it and do the readings. And so but math was never a thing in my family, and I have managed to not, carry that on to my kids. As
Yes.
well. Yes.
Math phobic.
Yeah.
I'm anti-math. I don't believe it exists.
Well, it all adds up, so it makes sense.
Nice.
Good one.
Cliche.
Good one.
Nice.
Well done.
Addie.
I will preface this with saying my dad tried his very hardest to help me with math, but it did not help me at all.
Is this like a bless his heart kind of
Math.
thing?
Yes. I am dyslexic and he is an auditor. So trying to get the two of us to understand algebra together was very
Amazing
messy.
sitcom. Amazing
Yes.
sitcom idea.
So there,
The dyslexic and the auditor.
yes. So there were many evenings where we sat in this one particular chair of our living room, and he's like, "Why don't you get it?" And I'm like, the twos look like threes. I don't know. But yeah, so he
So
tried.
math.
He tried. There were tears. There was yelling, but it did not work.
Yeah.
So
So he
Good
didn't
enough.
take it well? You had him crying and yelling?
We were both crying.
Oh, you
it was
were-
mutual tears.
I thought maybe he was
Yes.
Mutual tears of math.
Mutual tears of math.
Is math really a combined answer? Like they're finding common ground over this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Math is it's unifying
Math is
evil.
a universal pain.
Or-
Yes.
I can dig it.
He loved math. I hated math, and we just could not get there together.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating. Being like, because there's no. I think the time that you actually get to like derivation of math is a college class of
Yes.
why it makes sense that
And it
1
never
plus
makes
1
sense.
equals 2.
It's all dumb.
Yeah, so like whenever you're
Sorry, Dad.
trying to actually talk and explain it with someone before you get to derivation of math, which is process in itself to literally go through and write out your pros as to why every single thing makes sense for why you move along with the math equation. It's just because it is.
Yes.
The worst, my least favorite answer in all of parenting is because I said so.
Yes.
But it is true.
And
That's definitely not why math exists, though.
But currently for
Definitely
teaching
not.
math,
There were never good reasons for
yes.
for algebra.
But for teaching math, like that's the best you got is because it is.
At least in science
Because
and history,
because I said
you
so.
can
Because
back
it
it
is.
up
Yes.
with
Yeah.
facts.
I tell you what,
You can check it.
Yeah.
it depends on
check
which
it.
math, though, because
All of
I
them are
love
bad.
Yes.
physics. I love physics.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's a
Physics,
very
and
math.
that technically is math.
Yeah.
But physics is basically applied math.
Yes.
You can say,
makes
okay, this
sense.
is why this happens. And I get that. I'm a visual dude. But geometry, kind of ish. But then you're
Whoa.
starting to get into the,
I thought geometry was the most applied math.
geometry is definitely
you
the
can,
most applied.
Geometry and
you
physics
can
are
touch
also
it,
like,
you can measure
I
it. It's a
don't
Physics
thing.
is
know.
technically a
Real.
science.
okay, now get this. So when I was in high school, geometry was not only like angles and whatnot, but it was also theorems.
Yeah, Pythagorean
Pythagoreans.
theorem.
No, not Pythagorean. No.
My
It
favorite.
was like teaching. So like if you got from this statement to this statement, how many steps?
So logic.
Yeah, so logic, and that was falling under geometry. And for the life of me, I'm
Oh,
like, how is that geometry?
Yeah.
Math is dumb.
Is ifs, as if, as ours.
is
What are
dumb.
those? If was.
Yeah, basically,
Those
I know,
ones?
I know what you're going. Yes,
Yeah.
You're trying to get from one statement to
If
another,
this, then
and
that
what's
was
the
true.
bridge between
Yeah,
the two,
yeah.
and somehow that's geometry, the same as here's an acute angle, here's an obtuse angle.
Which one's
Yes.
cuter?
How am I the only one here defending math? I'm like, that makes tons of sense. Geometry is
I'm
applied.
It
math
makes a
geek.
lot of
Yeah.
sense that you're the only one
So
defending
much.
math.
I'm a big tennis guy, so that's a big thing.
Your
We gotta
angles
drink
are
now.
off the
'cause I said
chart.
it.
You
Yes.
said tennis in correlation to
Like
math.
an idiot.
So
That's why I never taught you math, because you knew it.
This is why you were never
inherent.
fun.
It's inherent
at
to you.
parties.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
All
seventh
you did was talk
grade,
about angles.
like in Elma, the 7th grade geometry teacher, his name was Mr. Bisbee. He was 66 years old.
Mr. Bisbee?
Mr. Bisbee.
Why are we talking
Fantastic.
about
66
him?
years old. He was also a
Did
wrestling
he drive a
coach
magic
for
school
junior
bus?
high.
Because he should.
He did. He was whenever
That's a
we
bad
were
spinoff.
whenever we were
Plot twist.
roguing, so like detasseling corn, he ran one of the groups.
Nice.
So
the
he
bus
was
just got larger instead of getting smaller.
Yes, he was our geometry teacher and our junior high wrestling coach. Important to have both because he
I'm
would
gonna ask Carla about
also.
this guy.
You should. He's a great
will,
guy.
yeah.
He would wrestle the junior high kids to show. You know, like he would also like if someone's missing a partner, you're wrestling Bisbee, and Bisbee for a 60-year-old man, agile, and not only would he wrestle you, whenever he would get you like in a place where he would start like flipping you over or getting you in a wrestling position, he would he'd get your leg, so he's gonna flip you over and be like a cute angle, and he'd flip you over. He'd geometry wrestling. It was great.
I have no problem. I'm just saying that the getting from one statement to another statement.
Oh yeah, well,
That's the
you see me.
It's the transitive property.
Yeah, did
the
you
transitive
see
property
my
solves
logic
all of
flow
it.
to a conclusion?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes.
None of this makes sense.
Adjectives.
Great guy, that Bisbee. He did geometry.
Basically, wrestling. Don't wrestle in Alma.
Yes,
Unless you're good at math.
Unless you're good at math and good at
Business over
wrestling.
there.
Is
They
that
mean
the
business
takeaway?
in Alma
They
when
do.
it comes to wrestling. Yeah.
But
Wrestling, I should
the
say.
one
There you go.
subject that I don't think Bree or I are going to be very good with helping Bob
Math.
with, math we're going to be good. I think we're going to be fine there because she's covering a lot of the good sciences.
Obviously,
I've got some
you're gonna wrestle
literature.
your baby a little bit.
Shake it in.
But not shake it. You're not shaking it.
It's one good shake for measure.
Difference between wrestling and shaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
May.
shop class, like woodworking and applied.
In what world
not-
do you personally need to be good at shop class for your child?
One where they're like, I gotta do some construction, like any engineering
Hello.
class.
That's a good skill to have.
It's a great skill to
It
have.
also includes math.
It does,
This is
and I
where
am
the-
not
It's International
the
Women's
most
Day, guys.
handy
Can't
guy.
talk to me about shop class.
I can.
I was never allowed to do it because I'm a woman.
Was that like a
Highly
school?
doubt
You got
that.
Slater, Colorado
That's
school
a-
system.
That's a different
Colorado,
conversation.
get that figured
Highly
out.
doubt
That's not
that.
true.
Yeah,
I made a very nice gumball
straight
machine.
up.
Wow.
So you lie
I'm a
for
liar.
dramatic effect. Okay.
The first lie on this program
Is
the
it even
entire
national-
time.
Is it even National Women's Day?
Happy Women's Day.
And I'm an
a liar.
astronaut.
Second lie.
Barbie
Second
said
lie.
I could be
Get them all
anything.
out.
Alrighty, are we good for the next question?
No.
Cam's got to answer it. Unless
well-
he teaches cats
oh.
math.
What was the question?
Oh yeah, I
always
guess
ask.
for your
Teacher-
hypothetical kids, what subject would you not be able to help them with, or what
Your
subject were your
cats.
parents not able to help you with?
Oh, so my dad tried out for Jeopardy,
Really?
and he lost to a
Classic
rocket
dad.
scientist.
That
That'll
checks
happen.
out.
He didn't make it to TV, but he made it through like a round and a half.
Nice.
Oh,
Like
wow.
the second round. Like he did some things. So like
Impressive.
I'm pretty sure my dad helped me out with anything. I don't remember asking for a lot of help with schoolwork. So I don't think there's anything they couldn't help me with. But on my side of things, new math. New math. That whole
new
like
math.
drawing lines
Where
and
2
like
plus 2 equals 5.
no, like you like 27 times 45.
Yeah.
And you have to draw the lines and like circle the things and do the thing, and it's like it takes 3 minutes to find out what that
Yep, they
equals.
changed math.
When you could just do it the right way.
I'd be even worse at it.
For the
The old
record,
way.
this was new
Yes.
math like in 1983.
Okay, well I missed that.
It's
That's
like
what-
it's
you
a
know what
wave.
I'm talking
It's a
about, though.
wave.
No, I know.
Oh,
That's the thing.
cross
It's like-
lines and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
and it
That was a thing?
It was goofy then.
It just got to us. Apparently, it came from the coast and it came inward. It took 20 years or 40 years to get here.
40.
As
Those
it
coastal elites
as
doing
it usually
math.
does. As usually does. So
Usually.
I would have a problem with going forward with math based on the way maybe schools teach math
yeah.
versus the old way of teaching math.
That's fair.
Multiplication, just
Both are bad.
basic stuff. So
See, so yeah,
that would be the only thing I would offer
all
up.
comes
But like
back to
that,
math
I think
is
it's just weird.
Math
I
is
get it.
bad.
I can understand how to circle those things and like make sure do the addition and whatever, and get the addition, get the problem, get the result. What's it called?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's it. You're right.
The
Solution?
sum, the solution,
Solution,
whatever it is,
whatever
whatever
it
happens
is.
to be.
What are we
the
trying to
thing.
get
the
to here?
product.
I can
Math.
get there, but I
product.
don't like it because it takes longer.
Yeah.
Might as well just do it the regular.
Yeah,
This times this
the not
equals
show
that.
your work way. Yeah.
Figure it
Okay.
out.
Can I just use a calculator?
I'm very sorry. My answer was sex, and y'all 3 went with math.
I did shop.
Just
Cool.
because you're bad at it doesn't mean you have to
Sex
cry.
makes sense.
Oh, that's true. That checks out. One's biology. That one you just kind of get that on your own. Like
Yeah.
math makes sense. Like it's
You shot
math
yourself
is
in the foot
universal.
there.
I'm
Math
just
is universal.
so flabbergasted
I
by
didn't
the
have too many
weak
questions about
answers.
sex.
Well, math can just be repetition. You teach them a formula, just plug it into the formula, plug it into the formula.
That's similar.
So is sex.
You're welcome for the setup.
So math is sex.
Yes. Anyway,
All right,
Well, that's how you break it down.
Go
I mean,
forth
really.
and multiply.
Yeah.
2 + 2 equals 4.
go forth and multiply.
Divide
I
and
want
multiply.
that bumper sticker. Throw it back. I want that.
There you go.
Except I don't.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to give it to my kids. Yeah.
If you made it a bumper sticker, I'd put it on my car.
You plus me equals us. Let's divide and multiply. I think that's the
Oh, that was very poetic.
thing. Yeah.
Well done.
I didn't write it.
Is that how you got your?
I stole it from
1978,
multiple
yes.
things. Multiple
Very
things.
nice.
You have another question?
I do.
Yeah.
I've got
Please do.
two. We've got
Yep.
the first one being, think of a celebrity now who currently is not a parent. Which one of those celebrities would make the worst parent?
Bad. Oh, the
Yeah.
Catch Me Outside girl. I can't think of
Cash
her
me
name.
outside. Bad baby.
Bad baby.
Yeah. I don't think she'd be very good.
I
She
don't
hates
think-
her own parents.
I don't
and,
think she'd be-
I don't think she learned Dr. Phil's lesson
Oh yes.
when she was on Dr. Phil famously.
But she got
so
a lot of money though.
She did.
That's the key to parenting.
Is
On
a
her
lot of
OnlyFans.
Sorry,
money.
I forgot about that.
Man, she got a
I
lot of money.
mean-
I'm a terrible parent.
I forgot. No, I'm sticking solid to that answer. Mostly
Yeah,
'cause
I
it's the
think
first one that popped
that's a
up
good
to me
answer.
for a hard
That's a
question.
good answer. Good answer.
Oh, we're on the Family Feud.
Yes, I love that so much.
That was the one. That was the number one answer for 43 points. Yeah.
Show,
Show me that Bobby.
God, I don't know, is Charlie Sheen a parent?
Probably.
Yes,
he is.
I think so.
Yes, he is.
He is.
I'll think of
Most
another
He
answer.
had a, he
People
had
that
a
should
kid
not
with
be parents are.
Denise Richards, and she's
Is the
an
Unabomber
Instagram
still
model.
alive?
No.
Is he a parent?
Is he in jail? And I
he
don't
a
think so.
dead?
He is not.
Kaczynski?
Kaczynski's
Yeah,
not.
Is that a
parent.
celebrity? Is that a celebrity?
Absolutely, he's a celebrity. Doesn't mean it good.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, you
true.
can be a celebrity, can be
Yeah.
bad.
He had a-
Does
had
Hitler
you-
have any kids?
He's dead.
Hitler?
No.
Well,
famously, no. He
did
couldn't.
not.
I think.
Okay.
Was
That
what
was it. That was the
America
thing.
tells me.
You guys
was
just
the thing.
turned on me so hard.
That was the
Yes.
thing.
You can't, you can't lack in history.
I'm so glad
and
that
math.
Hitler. I'm happy about it. Like, don't be. I was just wondering if he had any kids, man,
Take it
because they
down a notch.
obviously changed their last name,
Oh,
so we
absolutely.
would never know if they were Hitler kids.
That's exactly
Which
what I'm
we, yeah,
thinking.
we don't know.
So many bad jokes right there. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say any of them.
But Ted Kaczynski, that's a good one.
That's
No
a
kids.
buzz-
Bring it
with-
back to
wait,
Ted Kaczynski.
You know the
Drop it down a little
Unabomber's
bit.
name?
Yeah.
Ted Kaczynski.
Ted Kaczynski. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go at him.
It's a Unabomber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm
famously, Ted Kaczynski had a very well and good idea for what he wanted the world to be.
Don't justify Ted Kaczynski
His
sending bombs to people
Apparatus
in the mail.
and method to do it, terrible. No, it's not an excuse for the way he did it. Not even a little bit. No.
The
No.
way he did it.
Well, he was like a genius.
Are
He
you
was
a
genius.
Unabomber sympathizer?
No, not even a little bit. I'm just saying that there's some really
Kinda
some
sound like
bad
one.
parenting that went there.
Oh, so you're blaming it on the parents.
I'm thinking it was.
It's at least partially their fault.
Circling back.
Thank you.
We
There
are
it is.
circling
I'm
back.
thinking that there definitely was a little bit of he was way too fast for his own grade, moved up, never really fit into anything he wanted to be. I mean, it's why he went out and secluded himself, and then he did a lot of very bad things. Doesn't justify it whatsoever.
Oh, he had too much
No, not
time
a
for
little bit.
himself
No,
because
not.
he was so smart. He had too much time because he secluded himself. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he did self-seclude, and that was not.
Could it have been the beard?
Can I suggest
No.
a pivot?
Yes.
That's
Can I
just what happens
suggest
when
a
you seclude
hard
yourself.
pivot away from this
Yes.
Unabomber?
From the
Okay,
Unabomber
all right.
justification.
What could it
Who was
possibly be?
justifying?
What celebrity? Yes. What celebrity? Okay, go.
I already went.
You already
That's
went.
true. Staring at
Leash girl
Answer.
Addison.
yes.
We got Cam too. Don't leave him out of this.
Joe Exotica.
Joe Exotic.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Tiger
Tiger
King.
King. I agree.
Bad parent.
Be a bad parent.
Bad parent
Why?
tip.
You got a lot of
Tigers, bad
pets.
parent tip kids.
I don't think he was not very good with tigers. I agree with that. Which
That's-
is very ironic for being the Tiger King.
Yeah.
Was not good
It's
with
like your
tigers.
trial run.
So you think he would be bad with human kids?
Oh, he was fine with
I think-
tigers.
What?
I don't
you think
think,
he'd be bad
so.
with
I
humans?
don't think he mistreated
bad
him at
with-
all.
Large cats.
That's true. I mean, like not notably, just enough.
Yeah,
Kids
he
need-
he
Yeah,
loved
that's
him.
Kids need more
He loved
attention.
him.
That's fair.
In his
But he
own
was-
distorted thoughts of love. Whatever.
Yes, because he was also feeding meth to that one guy.
Yeah, well, that's different. That's human.
That is human, which, I mean, kids
You have,
are.
you have an option to not take the meth if you're a human.
That is also true.
Giant cats don't have that
But
option.
I'm going to say, if your dad's
side
handing
B?
you meth,
I know what's happened.
yeah.
Unabomber, meth
We're
users.
talking, these people
The
aren't good
hashtags on this
parents.
side B is going to be amazing.
Yeah, these aren't good
What are
parents.
these questions?
They're not good parents.
They're not good parents. That's
Right.
the question. We're
So,
right on
Cam,
it.
what's your answer?
Snooky.
Snooky.
Mom.
She is?
Yes.
Well, she's
Oh.
fucking up.
How did you know this?
Because Snooki is a good mom.
How did you know?
I'm sure
so
maybe
fast?
she is.
She is a good mom.
I don't know. That was the first one that came to mind. But
Jersey
Yes.
Shore's a
I
safe
haven't
bet.
followed anything
Yes.
about those guys.
All of them mostly
For a long
became
time.
parents, and all of them are mostly good parents.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Coming back.
Yes.
They're
Yeah,
doing
they're
a
back
Jersey
now.
reunion.
They did like a spin-off Jersey Shore family vacation where they all get together with their kids and go on beach vacations together.
Do they do? Is there equally as much drama, or
No.
is it? It's just
They're just
A-
wholesome.
How boring is that?
that's
What
gotta
are
be
they-
terrible. I thought it was-
I want
terrible.
those kids to become Scooby Doo. I want them to live out
What?
the
That's
Scooby Doo
not.
life.
No.
Yeah. I want them to
Nice.
have wacky hijinks and solve crimes.
Cool. And a
I
cool
would.
van.
I would watch that.
Yeah,
I
see,
would watch
that's
that.
the only
Okay.
Jersey Shore. I'd
I would watch
Anyways, Snooki's a good mom. Take it back.
So, wow. Cam, you have to come up with another one.
Yeah. While you're thinking, I'll throw one out.
All right, thanks.
Andy Dick.
Who?
Oh, yeah,
What's
he'd
wrong
be a
with Andy
bad
Dick?
parent.
He's funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Would not be a good parent.
Who's
I
that?
think
Comedian.
he's a comedian. I
You know
think
if you
he's
saw him.
Yes, extremely self-centered. I don't think the kid would see the light of day. I don't. I
Well,
don't
he
think
could
he'd
be
a good
one of
parent.
those self-centered parents who's like, my kid is
Also,
literal
the
God's
one world.
gift.
It could make a transition
to the
over.
world.
But I also think Andy Dick's got a lot of other things going on recently that are just in his head that it's good. I don't think he can balance the kid too well.
It's not really real, but it's in his head.
I'm doing this
Are
with
you,
all.
are you following a lot of Andy Dick stuff?
Just enough.
Hashtag Andy Dick.
Are you
I don't know
also
who
an
this guy
Andy Dick
is either.
sympathizer?
Oh, I like his comedy. I think he's funny. I think he's a great,
Brady.
amazing actor.
He's a funny guy.
He is very good. Just don't think he'd make a good
This,
parent.
him and the Unabomber. Expected
Wow.
better from you.
I'm just saying, just people are bad parents.
You got another answer yet there? Cam?
Please.
Drama.
You say Andy Dick?
Yeah.
Nah, I got nothing.
So
else.
Andy Dick's off the bingo card
Yeah,
now.
fudge.
Cam thinks all celebrities that aren't parents currently are great parents. Alrighty,
I
next
don't know.
question.
I don't know anybody. I'm not following their lifestyle that much to know if
Thank
they're
you.
parents or not.
Good on
Thank
ya.
you. That's
Good
how
one.
I am.
Very good. All right. Do we want to do one more question or just
Yes,
say?
please.
All righty. One more question. I like this one a lot from supporting your kids in sports and being. I'm terrified of how I'm going to be in the stands whenever my kid is playing.
Really?
So, Rob, for you, it's going to be what type of fan were you whenever your kids were playing? Were you vocal? Did you let your kids know, or were you just sitting back and letting them kind of do their thing?
I was the earbuds in the ears kind of guy.
Earbuds in the ears
Yeah,
kind of guy.
I just like, because one,
Not listening, not paying attention.
no, I was paying attention.
Okay, all right.
I was always hypersensitive to what was happening.
Drama.
No drama.
No,
I would sit there and I would watch what was happening, and I was always attuned to what Grayson would be doing, or actually it was sports and other events that would happen. My other kids were doing, like fine arts and whatnot, or if they were playing soccer. And I would have the earbuds in, one, because I just wanted to be focused on what they were doing, and music helps me focus. And then two, and I'd be listening to music. And then two, I didn't want to hear what the other parents were saying.
Yep.
Oh,
For whatever
yeah.
reason. I mean, they would either be like, your kid sucks. They wouldn't say that, but they're like, oh, come on, bitch, or whatever. Or they would be saying, it'd be about therapists, it's like, oh, this you suck, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, these are 9-year-old kids.
Yeah,
It's like, let them play. It's like, come on, this is just a game. And so it would be probably 70% tuning them out, 30% just me listening and being in my happy place, because my happy place is listening to music that I like to listen to and watching my kids do whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I would be. And I had a friend, Grayson's godfather, for example, he would just go up and down the left field line just pacing. Like, a caged
Oh, yeah.
cat.
He
was nervous,
Because he was nervous the whole time, and I'm just like, relax.
Yeah.
This is just like a game. It's just like, he'll do well or he won't do well. It's just like, it's going to happen. It is what, there's nothing you can do. He said, I know that, but he just can't, I can't help it. And I was not going to be like that. And my wife would sit there in the stands and she would cheer loudly and, not annoyingly, but she would appropriately cheer and she'd be involved. And I was just like that guy who would just be like, I'm relaxed. I'm taking this all in. And I realized, having played the game, I'm like, this is the reason we're doing these things, and I get it. Sometimes the coach would make decisions I wouldn't agree with. Nothing I could do. Why are you doing that? Sucks. You're a stupid coach, and it doesn't do any good.
Yeah.
So I'm just let the kids be, let the coach do what they think they should do, and let it happen. That's how I was.
Yeah.
I don't know if
No, I
Grayson
can't
agrees with
confirm.
that.
I know you. I knew he was the guy who would, walk down the baseball. He'd walk down the outside fence and just pay attention. And I know he was paying attention because when I was a kid, I was severely dehydrated during a tournament once.
Oh my God.
So bad, and I was kind of pitching all right for being super dehydrated or whatever. But my dad came over, was like, "You got to pull him. He looks." I was pale already, but you could see my bones probably pale. He was this kid's gonna die if you set him up for another round. So.
Yeah, it's God,
Can't
get him some
confirm.
liquids.
But and the other end of that is my favorite video I watch often is he had this. I'm glad you did it. He filmed every point of my senior year tiebreaker in tennis against a rival, a rival school, Hastings at the time, and he every point of the tiebreaker he filmed it, and then at the end I won it. Everyone, there's a lot of fans for a tennis match, and a bunch of people. My parents and my godfather were there. Everyone's celebrating super loud. I'm celebrating super loud. My dad in the video goes, "Yeah, never a doubt, right?" It was 11-9. If you know anything about tennis, that's crazy for a tiebreaker. It was 11-9. It's never a doubt, which I know by that time I was my dad was nervous. That was close.
I remember that
So
day.
I can confirm. Yeah.
I remember that day.
No, that's great.
Sorry, that was a long answer.
But no, that was perfect. The question was, how do you think you would be as a parent watching your kid play? Or if you want to go the other way, I was giving Rob the first answer because I was going to be, how did you or how were your parents for you whenever you were playing sports? But we know yours. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, I would be a bad parent at first. I wouldn't say anything during the game. I'd be quiet and thinking of criticisms, which is not healthy. But I understand because I used to be a coach, so I would probably think of these things. And then the first time my kids snapped, I would snap out of it because I know better. But I would not be able to help myself in the instance. So the first few years at least, or once you get past t-ball where you actually know what you're doing in baseball and stuff like that, I'd be overanalyzing their decisions, not how they hit or anything like that, but I'd be overanalyzing the mental decisions they made until they told me to stop, and I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. That would suck. So I get that. My parents were great. My mom would cheer in the stands, but not a lot. She'd cheer if I did something great. My dad made more of an effort than I appreciated at the time to come back for games on when you play select baseball, you play on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays. He'd make a good effort to come for as much as he could, starting at 7 through whenever it ended. Sometimes our games were at 6, so we caught the back end. I did and did not realize it at the time. When my dad showed up, it was a bigger deal to me a little bit because obviously he couldn't show up all the time. But the fact he even did now, I can appreciate a lot more knowing what an adult life is actually like and the fact that he was technically working during those hours and stuff like that. So I can appreciate that. And I think they were both great because he made an effort and my mom was always there whenever. So
Yeah.
that's my 2-part answer.
Well,
I guess.
Addie.
What was the question?
Thank you.
How would you be as a parent at sporting events for your kids? And how were your parents for you whenever you were at sporting events?
For me, my parents, I played sports that my dad and I played the same. Does that make sense? So I was a runner in high school, and my dad was a runner all through college. So on that, we bonded. During my track meets, he was always on the field with me, giving me pointers, not to the point where he was, annoying or critical, but he'd be like, you could probably, take that turn faster or get out of the gate a little bit slower so you don't burn your energy, things like that, which was always really important to me. But I was also in horseback riding. Horse girls.
Yeah, salute
Give
to
a
the
shout out.
camera.
Nay.
Shout out.
Leash and horse girls.
Oh, Wilbur.
Which Neither of my parents did. I kind of went in blindly, but now as I have aged, when I left for college, my mom took up horseback riding. So now the roles are kind of reversed. So now I am more advanced in that sport than she is. So I find myself giving her pointers on her riding versus vice versa, because she just didn't have the knowledge at that time. She was always there to support me or my dad, depending on who could be there. But I wish to be that same parent. I wish to give pointers and support when needed and know when the boundary has been reached.
Yeah.
Because I know that myself personally, I like to give advice. It's not always helpful, which I know, and I'm working on it. But so as a parent, I want to be able to know those boundaries with my kid and have that open conversation with them where, do you want me to give you advice or do you want me to be here to support you?
Gotcha. Do you think it's going to come from a little bit of experience of my kid's going to have to tell me that, or you're going to have to learn it the hard way?
I hope my kid will tell me that, but if not, because I'm guessing they probably won't.
They won't.
Kid will not.
Kids like, I need emotional
They
support.
will not.
Actually.
Addison, I will tell you.
Okay.
You will have to read the room.
Okay.
You will have to. I mean, honestly, you'll have to know your kid and say, "This is my opening to present this criticism, positive criticism, in a way where they're receptive to it." They're not going to. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe you'll be the lottery winner, and they'll say, "Yeah." They'll come to you and say, "Mom, I need advice on." But most of the times, my experience has been, you've got to figure out. I have a message I want to give you, and I need to know if you're willing to receive the message. Now's not the time. Maybe 2 days from now will be the time, and it'll be maybe you're just sitting there doing something completely different. Say, "Hey, remember that game?" Blah blah blah, and it comes up like that. But yeah, it's on the parent, not on the kid.
That's fair. And
And he had the easiest kids. So
I did.
that's just-
yeah, you were a sweet baby angel.
I had the easiest kid. Then I had 2 more.
that's a dig on, yeah.
Everyone but Taylor.
Me and
Hey.
Hope. Yeah.
Kid.
Cam, what do you got for me?
I'm gonna have to ask a question again.
You
Oh,
bet
come
your
on,
bottom
I
dollar.
know.
We're going for the record.
I'll cut it out.
The record is.
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
So the question
What
is.
kind of coach would you be?
I almost had it.
The question is, what type of coach would you be for your
Oh,
kid, and what
I-
type of coach for your parents for you during your sporting events?
I didn't have too many sporting events. I wasn't much of a sporto.
That's what it's called?
Or during your
Sport
events, your life?
Yeah, I mean, I was a
suppose.
pee-wee wrestler,
I find that hard to believe.
and then I went out
You were
for
Pee-wee anything.
Yeah, I once was a smaller person.
Oh, okay.
I never had a singlet. I always wrestled in shorts and a tank top.
Thank you for
What
that
a
visual.
distinction.
Yeah, 'cause that,
They were Ninja Turtles, by the way.
Sick.
I didn't win much, but and then when I got to high school, I went out for basketball my senior year, and I'd never played the sport.
you're senior.
And I was giant. Like I sprouted up. Like, hey, I'm gonna shave my head. I'll be the tall bald guy on the team because everybody, you need a tall bald guy. That's
you
the,
do.
That's
Everybody
the deal,
needs one.
right?
Yep.
And I practiced, and that's it.
Did you make it?
No, I never
Shaved his head
once
for nothing.
never once played a game. I just practiced. I was a red shirt senior.
Oh, you
who
made the
just
team,
practiced. I practiced. I never sat on a bench. I never made it to that point.
You were on the practice team.
I was a practice team as a senior.
Nice.
It was hilarious because I didn't understand the game.
Did you letter? Did they give you a letter at the
in
end?
band? Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, letter.
Nice.
Yeah.
What
Oh, yeah.
instrument?
Saxophone.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
The only instrument to letter.
You look
in.
like a sax guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This tremendous sax appeal.
okay.
So
Yes.
That was objectively funny.
I have real sax appeal.
I just said that.
Did you just say that?
Let's rewind the
It's
tape.
so weird how
That's what I was
you're in my
offended by.
ears, but I couldn't hear you say that. So I said, all right.
Run it twice.
The thing is, you had sax appeal.
Mark it.
Alto.
3 times.
Alto sax appeal.
Alto Barry.
Alto.
Dan Barry. Anyway,
Yeah.
if I were an adult who
Are
had
you?
kids, I would be like, hey, you know what? Do your best, kids.
No.
I'm not gonna be that like angry parent in the crowd.
That tracks.
You know,
Yeah, I agree with them.
I'd be like, hey, you guys did your best. I'll talk to you after the game. Like, get out there, do your thing. You know, obviously, the coaches and the staff are going to do what they can to teach you how to play the game. And I'm obviously don't know the game because I'm me, based on the previous statements I've made. But yeah, as soon as they got the field, if they're feeling downtrodden, whatever it is, like, hey, I'm here to pep them up. That would be my thing.
What if they don't do their best and you know that they're not doing their best?
Well, then why would they play?
Oh,
To
What
have fun.
conversation are you having with the kid?
Do you want to do something else?
Okay.
I present it that way. I wouldn't say, hey, you suck at this. I wouldn't say that. Like, hey, is this really what you want to do?
Yeah.
Let me know. You can be honest with me. You know, tell me. It's cool. If you want to, twirl a baton, you want to be in cheerleading, you want to do this, you want to play football, whatever it is, want to do something else, let me know.
Well,
I'm not forcing it on them in the first place, but, it seemed like, maybe it seems like they wanted to do that because it was the thing that their friends were doing, that they didn't quite agree with it and didn't work with them, but happy to be adjustable. I'm a chameleon,
so here's one of the things I have is like, as an athlete, you play games, and there's sometimes you're just like, all right, I'm doing this because I'm on the team and I want to be there, but I'm not going to give it 100%, just because I'm having a crappy day. And so my thought is, you could have kids that just have crappy days, and it's just like you have to sit back and go, all right, they're just having a bad day.
Right.
And the point is to recognize that and say, maybe it's not you're doing your best every day. It's like you don't have to. You don't have to have a kid that does their best every time, because in the workforce, people come to work, they're not doing their best every day. You have people that come into work and they're like, all right, whatever's going on in life, they just need to get through this day to get to tomorrow, and I get that. So I don't think we should push it on our kids. I mean, there's times when you'd be tennis or whatever you're playing, you're like, you'd beat up on yourself because you were hypersensitive about how you played, but there'd be times you're like just not quite there. And we'd be like, all right, well, your mom and I would just say, well, he's just having a bad day, whatever. It's just like, we're not going to be like, well, you didn't give it 100%. It's just like, whatever. It's just like that you just being you, right? And so your sister's just them being them. It's like, sometimes you're just there, sometimes you're not. And I think it's emboldened upon the parent to say, that's just what it is. I mean, you can't project on the kids what you want the ideal person to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Fully agreed, for sure.
Yeah, I've had so my parents, my dad was probably like the best person for me for sporting wise, because whenever I was little, I was a drama queen. So like the first time, I wrestled one time whenever I was in like elementary little wrestling, and I got beat, and I thought I was
little wrestling.
Yeah, little wrestling.
Okay, all right. I called it Pee-wee just for the.
I think it is
For the
Pee-wee.
record.
wrestling.
I think it is Pee-wee.
little wrestling sounds cool.
Yeah, I got beat, and I immediately stood up and just went to the bathroom and locked myself in the stall. And my dad was like, "You will go out and you will shake his hand."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, damn
Yes.
right.
Didn't even shake his hand. Huh?
No, I just left. Yeah. I did the same thing whenever I was in playing Pee-wee soccer as well. I mean, the other kids sucked. They were kids. They're terrible.
But the other kids were the ones that were bad.
Yeah, because there was kids playing in dirt, and I was trying to play. And afterwards, after we lost, I ran and hid and locked myself in our van. And my mom and dad did the same thing. I said, "You're going to go out and you're going to shake their hands. You're going to behave," because I was not a very good loser.
Wow.
I'm still not a great loser today, but at least I have enough sportsmanship and kindness, which really need to be
Yeah,
drilled
man,
in
good
me.
on your parents for that, for sure.
Yes.
That's a cool thing.
Yep.
Like to come and
Yes.
find you, tell you, hey, go. Like it's weird. Like force that sportsmanship upon you,
Yes.
but also like it's a learning experience
Right.
for
Outside
everybody.
of sports, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a jerk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That was the biggest one. And my mom, I kid you not, this is going to be one of the things I get from her is you have that one voice in your head you can always pick out of a crowd. And that was my poor mom's for me in any sport I played, which is fine. It's really good. Football, you're pretty far away from the crowd. You can hear them. Basketball, I could hear every single word,
right.
every single word she said. My dad was good. Like, he would say some stuff. He'd holler, he'd hoot, he'd be like mad at the rest of the back call. My mom, if she said anything, I would look at her and stare at her because I could hear everything she said, which really was not fair for her. She was a great fan. She literally did the exact same thing as my dad, but every time that happened, she was the voice I could pick out of the crowd every time. And I know that whenever I'm a kid with Bob, Bob's a kid playing sports.
Right.
Whenever I currently, like, at sporting events like Nebraska basketball, if there's a foul from the ref, like, oh, there's a weak foul. I'll kind of say that, or super exciting and stand up and hoot and holler. And I know I don't really do a good job of controlling myself. It's pretty jerk reaction. I'm up there like, woo, let's go type of stuff. And I think whenever my kids out there, I'm going to have to really kind of reel in some of the negative stuff of, like, that was a weak call, ref type of stuff, like, because the chirping squad is
Chirp Squad's alive.
still pretty alive to me, and I know that was something I really did not like as a, like, I remember I could pick it out and I was playing, so that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to draw back on.
I feel like you might be overly enthusiastic too.
That as
In
well.
the good
No.
I think
Brady?
What?
that one might be a big one of, I'm really gonna have to kind of, like, sit down and be calm and really just let him enjoy his sports and his activities and not be the guy that's being his biggest fan, but not like the biggest, loudest
You don't
fan.
make it about you.
Exactly. And not being super excited and kind of reeling myself in is going to be my biggest issue. But for those first few days, I kid you not, I'm going to be so, like, if he scores a goal in Pee Wee soccer, I'm going to be out there just
Absolutely.
screaming soccer
Running on the
jargon for him.
field. Yeah.
Shirt
You
off.
should.
Yeah.
Well, no.
That's a soccer thing.
Not that.
He'll get a yellow card. It's
Not
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Don't ever do
Whatever
that.
that means.
Your kid will never hear it. So, yeah, I have a feeling you will hear it. And if you don't hear it, Bree's going to hear it. And you will stop it.
Yes.
Because you are so hypersensitive to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will stop it. And you will be the, I see in you, the perfect parent for cheering at an event.
We'll get there.
I like how he prefaced it with at cheering at an event.
Yeah.
I also like
He had to put that on the end of it.
personally,
Like,
I like the I see in you. It's a Yoda kind of thing to say.
I didn't say it's going to happen, but that's what I see.
and you, I see. Perfect parent. Yes.
I do suppose that that's a pretty good round all the way through. I got no more questions, so I'm going to enter my best Rob, and that's side B.